What's up, everybody? Audio issue. Test, test. Okay, guys, so here's the deal. Hopefully, you're going to hear some huge improvements in audio quality for this stream. However, I currently have it set so that I can hear my own audio, which is creating a lot of echo feedback. I'm going to be on mute. We'll get the stream started in just a minute. I just have to remember where that option was to turn that off. Got it? Test, test. Okay. What's up, everybody? Rough start to the new audio. I was all excited to tell you guys that, hey, I finally got my audio fixed, and yeah, there you go. But I spent quite a bit of time working on the audio settings not too long ago. And hopefully you guys will hear some really big improvements in this stream. We should have ducking set. We should have auto filtering, raise and lower my voice and control the levels. Let me get caught up on chat here. What up, Ronan? Leggy, long time no see. What up, John? Bronson, how you guys doing? Yeah, next thing is going to be to find some new music. It's been the same music for years. time consuming, but I know the service that I'm going to go to, so I just need to find it. However, I'm not streaming a lot now, so it's a little bit tougher for me to go out and license a bunch of music. I'm not streaming as much, but we're working on that. That is next step. Josmeal, thank you very much. We were super stoked to finally break through. Music sounds like being in a fishbowl. That actually makes no sense because it sounded really good in my test. Maddie, also thank you very much for the grats. I appreciate it, man. And Cool Blue, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jojo. Sounds really wonky. Okay, I wonder if it's the ducking. Let me try turning the ducking off. Do I disable or do I have to actually delete it? Okay, how is that? Is that any better on the audio? Are we live, guys? Not seeing any answer on either side. Not any better on major issues. Okay, well, let's turn all filters off then. Alright, how is that on the audio? All filters are turned off now. Much better. Okay, let's go one by one then. Let me start with the ducking. So let me know if this is better. So the ducking is what should lower the voice. Yeah, it's gonna be loud for a moment. I'll get that adjusted step by step here. Is the ducking filter working? Is the ducking filter working? Yeah, so the ducking should bring it basically in and out as I'm talking. All right, so I wonder if it was which one of these? All right, let's put the limiter back on. We're gonna put the expander back on. So this should bring some balance to the noise levels. It should be at just one level, and then it should just cut in and out as I'm talking. What up, Izumi? How you doing, man? All right, so how is that, guys? With those three, we should have the main things. And then I'll just leave the other filters. I'll mess with those off stream. Sounds good. All right, we're gonna leave it like that then. Oh, I can't do it that way, huh? Go. That's too big, is what she said. All right, I added a fourth monitor also, but it's a little 10-inch monitor that I have placed under my main monitor. Thought it was going to be beneficial for stream, but apparently my windows resize when I move in and out of that monitor because the others are all 20. So we will do that. There we go. Shame you can't test stream on well, you can stream private on YouTube, but you can't test stream on Twitch. Where does this go? Do we need to put it anywhere? I can probably mess with grinds later. Let's just figure out which ones we need to sell. Less loud. Okay, I can adjust that from. Oh yeah, I can see I see it popping into the red here. All right, that might be too much. All right, how's that? So now we should have it at a lower baseline volume, and then the ducking, I can see the ducking working when we're talking. So it should hopefully, that should hopefully take care of it. What up, Big 80s? How you doing, bro? Not seeing any further comments. I'm going to assume we've got the audio correct. So we are going to jump into it. Guys, first of all, I hope everybody's been doing good today. It has been a while. Live here. So it has been a while, guys, but we actually have a couple of streams scheduled coming up. I am definitely never going to be able, I won't never say never. I'm definitely not likely to return anywhere near to the schedule that I had before. That's just, it got to be really hard to maintain everything. But I am still hoping that we can get probably 1 or 2 streams in a month. Maybe in time we'll get back to once a week. I don't see it probably likely going past once a week, but we'll see how it goes. But for right now, we do have streams scheduled for a while. Cool Blue, not a fan of the ducking, huh? What about the rest of you? You guys want me to disable the ducking? Don't know. I mean, it's hard for me because I don't get to hear. That's why I had the that audio glitch we had at the start. That was actually me. Music's super loud when I'm not talking, and then the ducking's not working. All right, so let's try and balance that out. You know what it is I think it's because the noise suppression was turned. I'm gonna turn that off. Yeah, okay, that should hopefully keep it clean. And then let me just turn the ducking off. There we go. All right, so how is that, guys? Ducking is off, music volume is down, hopefully still audible. I put the booster back on it so that it should just be at a stable volume level, which has always been the problem with these songs in the past. What up, Porch? How you doing, man? I see Big 80 said it's much better. All right. What up, Vlad? Bro, Vlad dropping the Twitch Prime sub. Vlad, thank you very much for the Prime sub, man. I really appreciate it, bro. Even said big improvement. Awesome. Vlad, yeah, man. Sorry to see you sold. But I mean, I get it, bro. I get it. It happens. And you can always come back with something that's been maintained recently if you ever get to. So John, there is a there's a setting that I applied onto the microphone, and what it's supposed to do is basically prevent me, because sometimes I have a tendency to yell, especially when we're doing summons. So it basically it's supposed to keep my voice at a moderate level, but it will occasionally just clip off like a couple of milliseconds from how I understand it. But what it'll do is, like, if I start to talk a little bit too quiet, the microphone will actually boost my level. If I yell into the microphone, it should manage the level to a little bit more moderation. So let me know if you don't enjoy that setting. I can certainly turn it off. You'll still hear me yell. You just won't get all the microphone crackling that comes with the yelling, basically. It's supposed to be a little bit better for headphones. All right, let's see. I'm rusty here getting these windows switched. All right, so we are on Trendy's account today. We've got a small summon session to begin with, and then we'll be jumping into the main thing, which is reacts. I want to say we've got 135 readouts. And yeah, I'm definitely, man, I am rusty. I'm like looking all over the place at all my different windows. I'm not completely used to the whole new setup yet. Tyler dropping the Siege Champ. Yeah, bro, I appreciate it, man. Dude, that was seriously the most intense siege I've ever been a part of. I mean, that legit came down to one monster. Not one attack, one freaking monster. It was absolutely crazy. I know people who are watching from the outside, you can't see a lot of the data that you see from inside the actual siege. Both sides covered up a lot of attacks, and both sides covered up a lot of our losses. And it wasn't one of those things where you're trying to hide losses, because things like SWGT and even the on-screen siege status will actually show you like how many monsters each side has. So you can't hide your losses specifically. But there is a strategy. Hey, there you go, Skyfall. Let's see. I guess you can't see. Well, we can't see it because we're not in siege right now. But there is a strategy that basically, when one side sees that you have lost an attack, they rune swap. And I actually got 2 defense wins that way during finals. So I had one of my defenses had at least 3 wins. I don't know if any other losses were covered up into it. I'm super freaking stoked about 3 wins as it is. 3 wins on a single defense is insane in finals. But what'll happen is if somebody loses into that defense, and then you see that they lose, you can change the build really quickly. And so that's how I got those wins. That is also what both sides will do consistently. So at times, if you're worried about a rune swap, particularly if you lost to a bruiser variant and you want to let a guilty cleave it, you just won't quit out. You just pause it, and then somebody will attack over you to take down the defense. So from the outside looking in, it was a little bit harder to tell actually what happened with the flow in the final. Let's get the summon started first. So guys, we have four Witcher scrolls. We have four all attribute. We have 10 more legendaries. So this is basically worth a nat 5 right here. With this, we're like 1 1/4 nat 5s. We do have 6, 7, 23 LD scrolls. So with the all attributes 27, our rate is about 1.8 sparks. So hopefully we'll get 2 sparks, just 1 LD4 and 1 LD5. Nothing crazy. We got 64 all attribute and then 138 mystical, so about another nat 5. So I think our over-under rates on this, we're looking for about 2 nat 5s, and we're looking for 2 LD sparks, and then just cross our fingers that one of them is amazing. Trendy, bro! Huge good luck, man. I see you typing. I was just about to ask if you want special summons up or not. So I think you might be about to answer me if you'd like special summons turned on. And then we'll start summoning as soon as Trendy lets me know. So going back to the finals, yeah, I mean, basically, you can buy pieces for Legend LD to complete the scrolls if I have. Okay, so what are we short? Oh, we're short 15, yeah. All right, special summons are on. So we're going to get started with the summons, and then I'll go back into it. But anyway, basically what it was, neither side was ever up by more than, I think, 4 losses. And that's pretty much what it was. It was incredibly close. It was incredibly intense all the way down. We did get a big point advantage early on, and that was huge because it gave us an advantage position-wise on the field. But other than the point advantage, like I said, nobody was ever really up by more than 4 losses. You couldn't see it as much from the outside because you couldn't see the covered up losses. So at the end, each side, this is incredibly rare in finals, but the Onyx buff allowed a few attacks that were just 2v3 attacks on each side. Each side made a mistake of putting a monster on defense that allowed a 2v3 just from that one monster because of Onyx, right? So at the end of Siege, Mali had, I think, 4 players that had 2 to 3 monsters each. That had 1 or 2 monsters. They had like 4 1-mon attacks, 2 1-mon attacks, and 1 2-mon attack. I think that's what it was. But basically, Mally had 19 monsters, Skyfall had 15 monsters, but the reality is that we each had 5 full... No, Skyfall had 16, excuse me. Mally had 19, Skyfall had 16 or 17, and basically it was just 5 full attacks on each side, and then a bunch of random 1 and 2 mon hits, and we each had exactly 12 bases. The field was even, nobody was cut off. It literally just came down to the very last base. It was like, if each side won all 5 attacks, Skyfall would win. If Skyfall lost 1 attack and Mally won all 5 of their attacks, Mally would win. So we had, and that was just because of the point advantage. So that early point advantage is what gave us that advantage at the end, but it's still, dude, imagine having to do, and I was one of those final attacks. Imagine you've got the final attacks, knowing that your entire season rests on whether or not you win or lose. That was the most stressful 2 hits I've ever had to do, because I had two out of those final attacks. I had 2 hits in that final base. That was like the most stressful thing I've ever experienced in this game, having to do 2 of our final hits, and knowing that if I lose either one, the guild could lose, or would actually lose finals. But with that said, it wound up that Mally lost 1 of their attacks as well, and when we saw them drop to 16 monsters, and again, you can see the monster list so that we knew that it was 1s and 2s. They had no choice at that point except to try for some more 2-mon attacks, so we were able to stop the... we were able to stack our bases. Every hittable base, we just stacked them all to ensure nothing could 2-mon, and that was pretty much it. But I'm telling you, man, this came down to like the most intense siege I've ever been in. Came down to the very wire. 8 hours in, 8 hours just nonstop multitasking. Like, dude, I was so fried. I was so freaking fried. So let's see. John, don't blame you for voting Mally, man. I know, I'm curious what the server voted. It was probably like 90% of the server voted Mally. I think if you were outside of the Skyfall APOC community, almost everybody voted Mally. I don't blame you guys. We were huge underdogs. Mally had won. You know, we've only ever beaten Mally we've beaten Mally but we've beaten Mally in regular season and sort of Guild War. We had only ever beaten them in tourney 1 time before this season. That was in a semifinal, and then we wound up losing to SSA in the final. So Mally was absolutely the huge favorite. We had lost to them in the final the last 3 or 4 seasons in a row. And I would have expected, like I said, everybody outside of our community to pick them. But I will say, this season, it felt like both sides were really close. I don't think Mally was actually weaker. I think Skyfall just got stronger. We had some good new recruits, and we worked really hard to prepare for the final. I do think that the finals map was arguably the strongest finals map I've ever seen on both sides. The Mally map was awesome. I thought our map was. And it was just a really tough map. And we were fortunate to come out on top of... Talking and not paying attention. Lost the summons. Here we go. We were fortunate to come out on top of what was like the absolute closest siege I've ever been a part of. It's good. And so Trendy said Onyx so OP doesn't need runes. The reality is Onyx is actually more OP when he does not have runes. Personally, I do think Onyx needs a nerf. I think that the existence of Onyx was just kind of dumb. But the nerf he needs isn't anything major. It's fine with him starting in statue form. His passive is fine. It's a very simple thing. He just needs to not... well, literally, Qua said it. Exactly. Like, literally, I hadn't even read your message, Qua, but that was exactly what I was going to say. He just needs to not be able to lose attack bar while he's in stone form. Hey! Ooh, that's a tough choice. Dude, all right, we got our first nav 5. That's a legit tough choice, man. I would probably lean towards Layla. Trendy's focus is Siege. Gyu is usable in Siege, but mostly just paired with a Leo, and so many other monsters are good with Leo as well. Layla has maybe Siege defense application, not a lot of Siege offense application. All right, let me just scroll down and catch back up on chat so that I can see what Trendy says. Evan, huge grats on the first LD5, bro. What was it? Quai, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I have absolutely learned a lot. Saturday summon Light Siri on the Ragdoll. Ooh, Light Siri is fun, man. And then Sunday summon Jara on the main. So Jara with the recent buff. Dude, huge grats, Pipavin. That is super awesome. Cool Blue, thank you for voting on Skyfall, man. We appreciate the support. We seriously do. Felt Mally wasn't as strong when they had a harder time with OC. Do I think Honored Objects contributed heavily to our success? No, I don't actually think so. Because a win's a win either way, and both sides had the same advantage. I think actually Mally had more 2-mon attacks than Skyfall did. We did like 3 of them, and Mally did. But I don't think it actually changed anything either way, because neither side won with 1 monster going in. Natsu, so yeah, well, you heard the answer to that. All right, Ronan says, oh, okay. Finally broke the LD5. Heard that a couple other servers had upsets as well. Do I think that's a coincidence? Xkeyed, no, I don't necessarily think it's a coincidence, and I will actually answer, so I'm behind a little bit on the Twitch chat. I'll answer both of those after we figure out his blessing. So Trendy says only one Leo, so he guesses Layla. I will say neither of these monsters are likely to get buffed in the next PP. I mean, who knows? But Gyu serves a very specific role. She serves it well. She's basically an Oliver counter. Not just Oliver. She counters Oliver and Oliver type stuff. Serves it really well. Slightly usable on Siege. Anything that applies to monsters, right? Not likely to, well over 50%. So certainly not likely to get. Excuse me, not likely to get buffed at any point. If anything, she might be closer to being a nerf candidate than a buff. But I don't think that's likely either. I think she's probably about where they want right now. So yeah, I would probably go Layla, but I do think they both have really good viability. So Trendy said Layla. Both chats are quiet right now. Anybody have any input they want to throw in? Otherwise, we will go ahead and just grab the Layla. Yeah, I would go Layla. All right. Yep, all votes are Layla, man. Layla it is. Huge grats, bro. We actually pulled something new, and we pulled something strong all at once. That is not bad. So our over-under for this session was 2 at 5s. That's our first. Hopefully we'll pull one more coming up here pretty soon, but that was definitely a solid first pull, man. So I was bitching about Layla in guild chat the other day. I have lost to Layla 84% of the time in RTA this season. No other monster have I lost to more than 58%. I've lost to Layla 84%. I cannot freaking beat that monster. Part of it is my comp. Part of it is the core of the RTA mods that I built. You know, I'm built around a ragdoll core on turn 2, and I can't find a way to counter it, man. I lost to the same dude 4 times with 4 different counters the other day. I tried a Mor Chung, I tried Oliver Sagan Sekhmet, I tried the Ragdoll stuff, I tried Lang Baramos Juno, and I lost to the same guy all 4 times in a row. Wasn't even close. I cannot beat Layla, man. Literally just cannot freaking beat Layla. Well, it's not just Layla, it's the whole comp. Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. That's going to be new also. So we got our, yeah, there you go. Not the most OP monster ever, but she should get buffed in about a week. She should get buffed in about a week. The next balance patch, we're thinking it'll come in a week. It could be 3, but a week would make more sense. We're between siege tournament, between siege seasons and between RTA seasons. Don't think we've ever had that line up with a balance patch before. So totally expect that it'll be either 1 week or 3 weeks, but it'll definitely be soon. Plus we're at 2 months since the last one. So yeah, Fire Triss not super OP right now, but I would expect a buff for her. I do run a lot of Tessa, but in the Layla comp, when I'm facing Layla, I just literally can't get a turn, and if I do get a turn, everything is debuffed, silenced, and attack broken. And, yeah, so John, I'm still I Yeah, I don't have the drive to push in RTA anymore, I guess. I tried building like a turn one comp for a little while. I felt that was the only way I could push, but I get so bored, man. When I'm doing that, my brain just wanders and draft terribly, and it's just not for me. So I eventually went back to just playing a ragdoll core. But same thing, I have a bad habit of just doing wings while I'm working. Like literally, I'm like just working in one window and clicking on drafts. I don't know. I lost the passion for the RTA push during the Oliver meta. Not to say that, I mean, Oliver's not dominating the game anymore, but it was like 5 seasons of Morchung followed by Oliver, which was just a meta that I hated. And I just really lost the passion for it. I will say, I think RTA is infinitely more balanced now than it was for, I think we're probably last season and this season, probably the 2 most balanced seasons of RTA ever. I just haven't been able to get back into it. Yeah, Robert, I'll show you the ragdoll comp here, or I'll show you what I have ruined here in a minute if you're interested when we finish the summons. All right, so Big 80 said Swex is totally busted now with Steam. Last week I was getting my JSON on the computer. Bro, that sucks, man. Especially if you talk to Xandro. Yeah, certainly nothing I could add to that, but that does suck, man. I will say I had a lot of problems getting connected with Steam right now, and I don't think my Swex is active. I had to turn Steam mode on and then off and then on and then off. I had a lot of problems because I only use Steam when I stream. I keep XG on my Steam window so that I can use the account that I'm logged into on Mumu. Since you run 2 instances of Mumu, you cannot show them both through OBS, my streaming software. So Steam allows me to switch back and forth between windows. But it took me probably 10-15 minutes to actually get it to connect, and then it's basically Swex is completely disabled. Hey Tanner, what up, bro? Thank you for the grats, man. I appreciate it. All right, let's see here. All right, so we are moving on. We may as well do the Witcher Scrolls. What do I think about Siege for next season? What up, Haydon? What do you, what do you mean, what do I think about Siege for next season? Like, is there something specific? All right, so Dark Yennefer, one time? Or Wintris? Okay. Dark Yennefer, one time. Oh, bro. This so freaking look dark. I actually have Dark Yennefer. That's why I'm calling for her on the scrolls. And I pulled the Dark Yennefer from a Witcher scroll. First time I've ever gotten an LD5 from one of these event scrolls. All right, no Dark Yennefer. It's all good. We've got plenty more chances on the LD scrolls. I think we're out of everything else, right? Yeah, so we'll go straight into yeah, let's do all attributes. Do we want monster rate up, or you know what, we're gonna do legendary because I'm not sure you'll still want monster rate up. So let me know if you want monster rate up for the all attribute while we do the legendary. All right, so we already got our rates, by the way. The rate was 2 nat 5s, the over under. So we did hit our rates. If we can pull one more, we actually break rates. I would be super happy if we just got one ahead of rates. I think the Layla was a massive win. She's not the greatest siege monster ever, and I know siege is your focus, but she is just a really strong monster. So Haodong, Malevolent is interesting. I understand the purpose of Malevolent, but there was attempts to create a Malevolent hype guild in 4 of the last 6 seasons that I recall. I do think Malevolent will last. Like, I don't think the guild's gonna die. I think it's gonna be right there in tourney. I think it's gonna be really strong. But I'll be curious to see if some of the players that have gone there, like True Whale and True, just to name one from each, Skyfall and Malicious, to keep it fair and balanced, right? Skyfall lost 2 or 3 there. Mally, I think, lost 2 or 3 there, and then they're picking up players over time. But I just want to see if everybody is happy. If they're happy there, then I'm happy for them, because the siege season is a really long grind. But tends to be over time that people try to go to those types of guilds and then they work their way back to something more competitive. Or like when APOC was originally formed, so when APOC and Mithril merged, and then Mithril rebranded to Skyfall, APOC was supposed to be exactly what Malevolent was. It was supposed to be a casual guild that would just make the tournament based on the strength of their accounts and the tournament experienced players, and then maybe try hard in tournament. And over time, APOC turned into a little bit more of a try-hard guild as well. So I'm not trying to say I have any idea what is going to happen in Malevolent. I'm just saying what's happened in the past. It's hard for people that are that competitive to stay non-competitive for a long time. And it's just that the season is such a long grind, and at the top couple of guilds, there is no real competitive sieges that occur, except like for us, basically it's just if we match Mali in season. And even then, because you're playing in a 3-guild siege, it's not the same thing as a 1v1. It's just not the same. So it's draining to put in that much time and energy, especially when you wind up just leaving 10 times every season. We'll see what happens with Malevolent. They're going to be a very strong guild. Trendy, I guess you didn't answer here. So Malevolent's going to be a very, very strong guild one way or another. But will they stay casual? I don't know. Will the people that are there stay there? Or will they go back to Mali and Skyfall or somewhere else and form something new? I don't know. I think most of the time, most siege seasons right now tend to shape up about 6 weeks before tourney. So it's really hard to say, oh, okay, number 3, bro. Is it new? Is it not new? It is not new. So then that's probably a blessing. Kumar, you really don't have a lot of use for it. So I would think we're going blessing on that one. But if you want to just confirm, Trendy. What up, Rebirth? Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Tyler, I agree. We need some definite just changes. We need some updates to Siege. Blessing or more LD? That's a tough one with only 3 more scrolls left. I mean, technically it's a 25% chance to pull 1 more Nat 5, but you would still have the blessing there for later. 3 more LD increases the odds. I mean, so one way or another we feed him. I don't sleep on Kumar. I think Kumar is kind of interesting, but you don't kill dupe Kumar. You're not going to put devils into it. That's the thing. Like he said, he only has 1 lead, for example. I would much rather feed the Kumar for a chance to get a dupe Leo or dupe Adriana or dupe Sonya. Kumar's a decent monster, but I just don't think you need dupes of him, and I don't think you want to put devils in him. Maybe if you could skill him up through fusion, but that would still be more for whales who have the excess fodder. He's just never going to be high enough on the board. 1 Kumar should be devil. Useful monster. It's just the dupes we're talking. Alright, so we can get 3 LDs or we can get the blessing. Let's take a look at how your box looks overall. How much stuff are you missing? Maybe a third? About half there. No, a little over half there. Less there. Maybe about half. So about half the fire stuff without counting. Surprisingly, a lot of... Oh, well, that's interesting. So this whole line basically blanked out -1. These 2 lines basically full. I'm going to say roughly, more or less half. Again, a little over. This feels like over half. Again, I didn't count. I'm just eyeballing, but I'd say like 2/3 there, right? Layla you've got. So actually, probably be looking at it on this side, just in case there's stuff that's not built yet. It's still, I mean, it's the same thing. I would say, so I think when you're in that midpoint where you're like, a little over half or whatever, I would say it's probably blessing. Even if you don't get the Nat 5 today, I think the blessing is worth having when you're missing. Blessing looks good. Okay. All right, let's just see if we can just pop the blessing and make it quite worthwhile. All right, we are already beating rates. The rate was 2. Keep in mind, the rate was 2. We've already done, that's not a blessing. Fortunately, You could see the little skip button there, but we've already beaten rates, so if we could double rates, that would be pretty sexy. Won my first Claire yesterday and Water Series back-to-back. Dude. All right, so Claire is useful. Claire is legitimately useful. I mean, Claire's problem is Kali, right? So Kali is free to play and about 95% as good as Claire, but still, Claire is 5% better, which is nice. The Water Series is super cool. I think the Water Series hasn't been explored a whole lot yet, and I think you're going to see her appear more and more in the meta as more people have her and explore her. I think the Water Series is definitely a really good one. She's a Water Sonya, basically. Slightly better Bruiser E passive and slightly less damage, but still basically a Water Sonya. Really good base speed too. I think it's 106. All right, Trendy, special on or off for the LDs. Since your focus is Siege, pulling a Dark Series would not be a bad thing. Yeah, agreed, Arthrix. Agreed. A couple of the LDs are good in there as well. Light Series is good. I think the Dark Geralt is good. Light Triss looks like a lot of fun. On. All right. So our overall rates for LDs here were like just under 2, basically. So we're hoping for 2 spar. We're hoping for more than 2 spars. We need that minimum 2. Make sure that we are running farming. Or maybe I'm mixing up Dark and Light Geralt. One of the LD Geralt, because I don't have either. One of the LD Geralt was really solid. All right, first spark. Mikasha. Technically new, but I think you would have gotten her out of the HOH return event coming up. I'm pretty sure she was HOH. So you would have gotten her in a couple of weeks, but maybe if you're missing the dark one in that rotation, it balances out. So, I mean, it could be like if you're missing the dark and the light both in the same rotation, then that actually could have still been a good pull. But at least we got our first spark. Now the second will be an LD5 and we'll be good. Okay, yeah, Arthrix, so it's the light one that I was thinking about then. The light one is the one that like constant, hey, second spark! One time. All right, that is dupe, unfortunately, but we did get 2 sparks. We got a chance for one more. We got a fair chance for one more. We got 13 scrolls here. One more spark would be solid. One more one non-HOH spark would be solid. That's what we're looking for here. Just one time. Nothing too crazy. So I have not actually had a chance to mess with Fire Geralt much with I was working 100 to 110 hours a week since November. That stretch finally just ended. Man, that was like one of the longest, most brutal stretches. November through February is always brutal for me, but this was like definitely the busiest year of them all. And then with tourney prep coming up, I just haven't messed with Fire Geralt yet, but I mean, he's basically like a Rika with some attack bar manipulation. He feels stronger than Rika in RTA. Maybe on par with Rika in TOA, maybe a little bit better than Rika in TOA, I'm not sure. The weird thing is, like, when you have a lot of dot, then you don't necessarily want to take attack bar away because you want them to eat the dots. Alright, did not get the third spark. That sucked. Alright, no third spark, but while the LDs are disappointing, maybe the light Undyne actually play the what's her, not Talasha, Akasha. Maybe the Akasha is actually decent, because if you're missing the dark in the same week, then you can do it. Obviously the dupe Misty. The thing is, Misty as a siege defense unit is a pretty decent siege defense unit. Having a dupe is not incredibly bad there, but the thing is, with obviously the new event going on right now, you would have gotten 5. Anyway, so there's really no way for me to make a bright side on the Misty other than to say we got a little bit of an adrenaline hit. We got a dopamine hit when it sparked, but I think overall it was not a bad session. I mean, it was 4 nat 5s. Granted, we fed one, but the blessing is still there for future. These two are new. Was it 4 nat 5s or was it 3 nat 5s? I thought it was 4 nat 5s. 3 nat 5s, that's right. It was 3 nat 5s. So we beat rates by 1. We were on rates with LD. Layla's probably the main winner here, but Triss, I absolutely expect to be buffed in the next game. So we'll see. The Fire Triss may be the VP winner, may not be the VP winner. We really won't know until the VP, but I think she's worth having. Rika's slow is really nice. The skill 2, I mean, it's 90% activation rate. That's not the worst thing ever. I mean, Rika's OP. Rika is absolutely OP. Fire Geralt, I think he's in there. And the thing is, I think Rika will be better at times, and I think Fire Geralt will be better at times. I don't know, maybe Rika will be better more often than Fire Geralt. But he is a legit good monster. Substitute for Brad Cleaves. She just she has the glancing, right? It's like take attack bar and then add glancing. All enemies to reset attack bar. Gives a branding effect. Oh, glancing and brand. Okay. Yeah, I mean she's usable there. I certainly don't want to make it sound, you know, but I want to be realistic. Also, I mean that kit is basically what's his name? The wind Taoist is basically the exact same kit. It looks like minus the brand. Well, that's fair, Rune. That's fair. All right, I will. There was a question to see a couple of my monsters. We'll jump over. I'll show you my RTA box real quick, and then we're gonna jump to Trendy. This up. It's nothing crazy. It's just a basic ragdoll, core. And I was tilting a bit yesterday, so I dropped 100 points. As a matter of fact, I was tilting specifically because of Layla. I don't think those replays are still there anymore. Maybe they are. Got it. Let's see. No, these are all. Yeah, this is all like tilt. This is all tilt. So I was like 19 something. Yeah, I was like 19 something. And then started tilting. I also started the season way too late. I only built the box in 3 weeks, so I had a lot of pushing. But there you go. This is the basic box. I think I have 2 monsters that are. I have 2 monsters ruined in storage when I max out of favorites. But this is the basic box. That's all it is. Have a good night, bro. That's the Tessa build. So I run everything slower, straight turn 2 player. And yeah, basically, I mean, Tessa's even on the fast side for most of my monsters. You see a lot of like 3, 255, 237. Just don't enjoy CC. It's not. I don't mind turn 1 that much. I really don't mind turn 1 that much, but I hate CC. It's just it takes all the fun out of the game. So I just can't bring myself to do it. I've built it from time to time. I mean, I have the CC monsters ruined. More is ruined though, realistically, just in case I need him. He's there like when the opponent wins with the A gang. If I can ban the A gang and just pick one or something. He's really just. But yeah, most of my stuff is just. I mean, even the Chung, dude. Chung is 156. Slowest Chung in the game, guaranteed. That is like the single slowest Chung in RTA, and it's just I know that I handicap myself. Not gonna lie, I know I handicap myself. I just can't do it, man. I play CC and my brain turns off. I get so freaking bored that I don't think through the drafts at all. I literally just click on stuff. There's never a pause of more than a half second. Like they draft, and then I just click 2 monsters. And they draft, and I click 2 monsters because I'm so bored. I just want to get the wings. I can't help it. It's a weakness. Makes me bad. I get it, but I just can't do it. So Laura has not been that crazy for the CC stuff, and then I am using the Gianna has been amazing. So anytime somebody drafts Laura, I just run the Gianna. I think my win rate with Gianna is the highest overall monster. Really hard to get. Like if you run a Laura into a Nemesis Gianna, it's just. Actually, Arda may be my highest win rate monster. I'm trying to remember. I'd have to check SW Arena. But it's one of these two. It's either the Arda or the Julian. I have actually struggled with. I don't know if other people have. I haven't checked his win rate this season, but everybody has a Rocky and a Tessa Rune now. So I mean, you run Rocky double Nemesis. Like I have not had any problems into Julian. I can guarantee you. I'll pull up my SW Arena data, but I'd be shocked if losing voice on mic. So then the only thing I can do, because I can tell you it's a filter that I have set on the mic, but if I do that, it is it's probably the limiter. Let's see, we can turn these off and we can just use use this one. All right, let me know if this stops the mic cutout. It's probably not going to be as level as it was before, but it'll stop the mic cutout. Shaft, no, Kraka is not required. Sylvia is. No, joking aside, no, there's no specific requirements for an LD, but we do have a lot of Sylvias. We run 2 towers of Sylvias often. Kraka, I don't know if I've ever had a single siege defense with. She's good in RTA, but man, she just cannot win. She's bad. She's bad. But yeah, anyway, I just pulled up. I can tell you what the SW Arena is on Julian. I'd be shocked if I'm losing over 40%. I'm not sure how many wins I got. I only had 3 that were posted. I may have had 4. I may have had 5. Definitely no more than 5. But I think it was 4, but I'm not sure. So there was one moment in the siege where mine was the last defense in base 12 for like 10 minutes. And I think they lost into it for number 4 and then hit over. The final record only showed, but I know for sure it was 3, and I really don't. First of all, the most important thing is the guild won. Obviously, it's just to get 3 defense wins in finals is absolutely insane. So I don't. It doesn't matter if it was 3 or 4. I'm super stoked that I was able to contribute. Most important thing. But you know, you always do the competitive side of you. I'm curious if it was 4 or 3. All right, just pulling up SW Arena here, and then we're going to jump into reapps. So my Julian win rate is 50.67%, so basically 50%. And against Julian, I am 58% win, so Julian wins 42% of the time into me when they draft him. I win with him 50% of the time, and his overall win rate in RTA is 50%. So yeah. He's come down a lot. He had plenty of counters. He was really strong last season, but a big part of that was because people weren't used to countering. I mean, all you really have to do is just ruin the Nemesis Rocky, and he's pretty much done. And then you also have Adriana heavily in the meta, who's got skill 2. Mike's still cutting out. I only have 1 filter left on, so that's interesting. All right, well, officially all filters are turned off of the mic now. So if the mic does continue to cut out, I can try and readjust it a little bit. Make sure it doesn't hit the camera. We'll see if that's better. I don't know if it was just bad positioning. Now the problem is now it's actually blocking my line of sight for the chat. Firewater and Wind Sylvia. I have those 2. I just also have the dark one and the light one. Let's see. So Shaft Thruster, one thing about that, I talked about this early on. Both sides covered a lot of losses. I think Skyfall covered a little bit more. And the The thing with covering, we weren't trying to hide losses, because if you're in Siege, you can see how many monsters are left. You can't hide your losses from the other side. The reason that you actually hide losses is because if the other side sees that you lost to a defense, they can quickly change rooms. That's how I got my defense rooms. As soon as I saw somebody lose to that defense, I would immediately rebuild it, and rebuild it before the next person went in for a hit. That happens on both sides, and that happens throughout the whole tourney. So one way to prevent that is to not lose into the defense, but just to wait for somebody to hit over you. So it was actually a lot closer than it looked. It was the single closest siege I've ever been a part of. It was literally, we're 8 hours into the siege, where each side had 12 bases, and each side had 5 attacks. The full story was a little bit longer. Feel free to watch the start of stream for that. I won't go through it again. There was some two-mon attacks that happened on both sides, so each side had some extra attacks and stuff. But what it boiled down to is Skyfall had the point lead at that point. Each side had 12 bases. No base was cut off. There was nobody in bonus. We did have a special tower up. I don't think they did, so we had a slight advantage in point gain, but that was irrelevant because each side had 12 bases and each side had 5 attacks 8 hours into the siege. So if both sides won all 5 attacks, then Skyfall would win. If either side lost an attack, then that side would lose. And it was that simple. Because of the point advantage, we had the... so I don't think anybody won with a single monster attack. It was X Onyx. So there was Chow Onyx, there was Belial. Yeah, there was some Belial Onyx attacks. There was a Chow Onyx attack. It was just Onyx, basically. A bunch of Onyx stuff. Alright, anyway, so that's my RTA box, for those who are asking. And shared some rooms, it's Julian rooms. Don't ever mind sharing. Yuledong, I have a really high win rate with, but I've struggled to get him into drafts. Really cool mod, but it's hard to get him into drafts. I love his kit, just can't quite figure out how to consistently draft. Because, I mean, he does nothing really to prevent you from being CC. Well, hopefully this game has turned into Onyx being nerfed next. Just a minor nerf. All he really needs is not to be able to have his attack bar absorb while he's in statue form. And he probably needs a higher base. Something like that. Alright, let's jump over to our re-ups now. Yeah, now that I think about it, even if he can't have his attack bar absorbed, just that 96 base speed would put in work. But I mean, I think that's fine, because then you're basically doing a 2-mon thing. It's kind of like a Leo offense at that point. Arthrites, you'll find, I mean, so Onyx is going to go down with like Windy, where every top level Siege player is going to say that it needs to be nerfed. Siege monsters that need to be nerfed are Windy, Onyx, Adriana. Anything else? Thing is, Adriana's not getting nerfed because she's for RTA. But also everybody says Sonya's broken. I will tell you Sonya's basically a free win for every siege attack. But the real thing that's broken is Adriana, because without Adriana, Sonya is trappable, and that actually adds a dimension to siege defense. And so that means that Sonya is not the craziest siege offense monster. What's crazy is Adriana having a 111 base speed paired with Sonya. The Adriana nerf, the Adriana buff, it was just too much. So from a siege perspective, the things that imbalance siege the most right now would be Adriana, Windy, and Onyx. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but off the top of my head, it's pretty much those. Camilla is up there. Camilla can be beat. Camilla can be trapped, but yeah, like, I mean, Byung is shaping the meta, but then Camilla draws out Byung a lot. Camilla is not as broken as the other three I just mentioned, but she is broken. So, like, if you had an emergency thing that you were trying, like, if you could only pick 3 monsters to fix an RTA, in Siege, it would be Adriana, Onyx, and Windy for me, but I think Camilla would definitely be for number 4. And I have 6 Camillas, so for me to call for a Camilla nerf, you know, obviously that's that's a big disadvantage to my box. But it is what it is. I would rather see some. So if you heard my voice cut out that time, that was actually me. My voice just cut out. Let's see. You know what's interesting? I don't understand the Fang buff either. We all thought it was totally unnecessary, but I will tell you that I have lost more with Fang since he got buffed than I lost with him in like 2 seasons before that. So, in the scheme of things, the meta with I'm actually gonna say Comtois got that one right for once. Like as far as when I say for once, like Comtois actually does a lot of stuff right, sort of, but sometimes. QLL stuff they've been nailing for like 2 years. But in the case of Fang, like, you know, there's every balance patch, there's like one nerf that just seems like incredibly stupid. And you're like, where did this come from, right? I think the Fang nerf was actually kind of legit. Sorry, the Fang buff, excuse me. I think the Fang buff was actually kind of legit because the meta was shifting and Fang was struggling to compete in the meta. And they got that one right, to be fair. Plus, he's actually become viable in RTA again. I don't think he has a crazy win rate either, but he's viable. I just had SW Rune, so I can take a look. I bet you his win rate's below 50, but close to 48.09. So his win rate this season in RTA is 48%. I bet you if I look at him last season, he's probably like 45. No, actually, it was still 48. Oh, you gotta go back. He was buffed last season. So you go back 2 seasons, he's 46, right? So he was not really RTA viable, and he was losing ground in Siege, and he's kind of like one of those logo monsters, like everybody loves Fang type of thing, right? So yeah, I would say it looks stupid at the time, but they actually. Tyler, I use Fang almost exclusively with Leo, but on occasion I'll use him in other places. The Kinky nerf I thought was dumb, but it hasn't really changed that much with him, to be honest. He's still gonna show up on defenses. I don't think the Kinky nerf was necessary. So he just becomes slightly weaker in defense. But the reality is that, well, okay, so here's the thing with the Kinky nerf. At the tourney level, most people know how to counter him easily. He will still occasionally lose to RNG, but generally speaking, very counterable. He was also very strong on offense. Below tourney level, he was a pain in the ass for a lot of people. And so when we talk about things from the perspective of, you know, a Skyfall, Malicious, or even just any VS, like anybody at tourney level, APOC, Malevolent now. When you talk about things from a tourney level guild perspective, it's a very different game than it is when you talk about things from a G1 level perspective. But 99% of the player base are not competing in tournament, and their balance patches have to take that into consideration. So Kinky was a problem for people in lower rank Siege. And so I get that. He was also a little bit of a problem, becoming a problem in RTA. So I get that. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here for re-app targets. And I believe, I almost said Kinky. I believe Trendy told me that we do have some that are marked already. And so we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna assume they're marked 5. Let's check. I use 5. May not be the case for everyone. Nope, Mark 5 is Weird Rune. Weird Rune. Nice. Just curious, what do we have as a Weird Rune? Yeah, that's a weird. Actually, no, that's an OP rune, bro. That's just gem in speed. That rune, I mean, yeah, granted, the attack percent's not great for resistance. But that's still a really good rune. Like, that's a great Tessarian. Just gem in speed, you're good to go on that. Alright, so we're going to swing over here to slot 2. We'll start with the slot, excuse me, we're going to mark 2, slot 2. Bombs and dots also work. It just seems, yeah, I mean, so you can Oblivion him. You can use anything with an auto crit, Yang, Chimera, whatever. You can use, but generally the most common thing is just to cha-cha. like for seasons he had been solved at tourney level. If you look at any tourney player's box, you'll see at least 5 Cha-Chas because Kinky just gets dominated by Cha-Cha. So he's not been an issue in Siege for a while. Again, at higher ranks. Probably G2, G3, higher G1. I don't think he had been an issue in Siege. But if you have a smaller box, you know, then, and when I say smaller box, you just basically, if you're newer into the game, and a lot of what Com2uS is doing right now is trying to revitalize the player base and bring in new players. And when people are starting 10 years behind, I mean, it's 10 years of farming and 10 years of summoning behind. That chasm is enormous. And so, again, I get it. I thought the Kinky nerf was going to be more impactful than it has been. It actually has not been that crazy. It didn't really change all that much with his kit, surprisingly. But even if it had been more impactful, I understand why Com2uS did it. Alright, so for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the bio runes. You guys might have noticed in the pin, because the questions come up frequently about what quality of runes are we keeping, why do we keep certain runes, things like that. So I put it in the pin today. We are looking to improve Trendy's overall depth. This is Trendy's request. He wants to be more competitive in Siege, followed by some better runes for Arena offense defense. RTA is the third consideration. So we're not going to be speed chasing on any single rune. We're basically going to be looking to improve the runes that are most beneficial in Siege. As soon as we get something that's usable, we move on to the next rune. Now, by usable, generally speaking, it is once the rune is gemmed and grinded, it will be at least 105% or so efficiency for a slot 2, 4, 6 rune, or 110% efficiency for a slot 1, 3, 5 rune. That's the basic rule of thumb. Now, there's a couple of exceptions. High triples, you always keep. Highest of any given stat in slot, you always keep. Obviously, really fast runes, really high crit rate runes, you always keep things like that. But generally speaking, when we're re-upping Bio or Will or Despair, Destroy runes, that's what we're looking for. Anything that's going to reach about 105% efficiency after it's fully gemmed and grinded on the slot 2, 4, 6, 110-ish, 107 to 110 on the 135. King B, that's interesting. Everybody told me the music was good before. Anybody else hearing the music? Let me try just maybe it's just this one song. See if we just skip songs. See if that's better. If not, I can turn the music down a little bit further. I wonder if it got loud when I last filter change, the music is louder. Oh, you know what it was? I think the mic was boosted before, and the mic is no longer boosted. How's that? So, because we took the filters off the mic, and that must have overshadowed it. So how's that? Perfect? Okay, cool. Yeah, feel free to let me know, guys, because I can't hear what you guys hear. So if we're just gonna keep fine tuning until we get the settings right. It's unfortunate a lot of those filters didn't quite work out. No, I would much rather you tell me. I mean, at the end of the day, we're doing this for the content, right? Can I repeat everything I said for the last 10 minutes? Yeah, I just rambled on for a bit. Arthrex, did we set a date? If we set a date, we should be good to go. I can't check my calendar easily at the moment, but if we set a date, we should be good to go. Alright, so we are looking specifically right now for anything that is a slot 2, 4, or 6 with a good reappable innate. We do have 156 reapps. We will follow the general rules that I always do of trying not to put more than 5 reapps into a rune in a row. That is clearly an improvement, clearly not a good rune, but it is an improvement. Brojan, once or twice a month at the moment. And then we will see in the future if time frees up a little bit. I might try and increase further from there. But for right now, I think we're looking at about once or twice a month. All right. You're missing an entire roll with no attack percent. The 24 defense is not terrible. I'm thinking of things like Manons, Tyrannus, anything defensive, right? But I mean, the 24% is not terrible. Yeah, it's missing almost exactly one roll, Tyler, but it's still 110% room, give or take. Okay, April 8th may not be available any longer. Message me on stream, and we'll take a look. I need to check when I'm offline so I can look at my calendar. The thing is, my wife and I are trying to take a vacation. We've been trying for like 6 months. We cannot find anybody to watch our dogs. It's been a thing. And I am so incredibly burnt out from working 100-hour weeks for the last 3 months. I really just want to get out of town, but we need to find somebody to watch dogs. So. All right, so here's where I stand on this, man. I think this is probably going to be your highest defense percent in slot. What I don't love is the fact that it's low speed, but I just feel, yeah, look at this. Ungrinded, it is your highest defense percent in slot. And your next highest, well, it's also ungrinded, is 20 with the same, actually, this is even slower, less efficient. It's hero. This is bad. This is actually really nice with the speed, but you're half the defense. So some people are going to cringe and they're going to call this a hero, but I think that this is actually the type of rune that you save, because at the end of the day, you can farm out more reap targets, but it's not that easy to farm 34% defense onto a crit damage. Who would you put it on? This can go onto a Velajul, onto a Tyrannus, onto a Manon. Manon is useful on siege offense. Could technically go onto a, not technically, could go onto a Giselle if you had a Giselle, right? But anything that scales to defense, this could technically go onto a Copper. I have used Vio Copper since he got 2-8 in offense. Definitely could go onto a Bellio, like Robert said, the Water Druid. So there are a handful, like a good handful of use cases for this rune. Almost every one of those monsters cares specifically about the crit rate, defense, and HP more than the attack percent. So I feel like you could easily just gem in speed here. The other place you could use this, honestly, would be a Leo. Gem in attack percent, and that would be an RTA build. You don't use damaged Leos on siege offense that often, especially on Bio. But for RTA, you could gem in attack percent. It would be a good Leo build. There are some monsters that you run with Leo as well, that want to be in high damage builds. Trendy only has one Leo at the moment, but that does not mean that he won't pull more in the future. So overall, this rune has a lot of use cases. Again, I know some people will cringe, but to me, this is a keep. I would rather us use 50 reaps and give him 50 usable runes, and then save 100 reaps for the next stream and let him go farm dragons for a week, or well, not a week, but you know, if you're farming heavily in dragons, you should be dropping reap targets. I drop like 3 to 5 reap targets a day after dragons. So I would rather just continue to pull reap targets and reap them than burn reaps repeatedly on one rune that's already useful. So for me in this case, this becomes gem and grind. Trendy says he's cool with it. Yeah, Trendy, I was kind of explaining it to stream because a lot of people, you know, this is a common theme across all streams, is people will be like, oh, that's missing a roll. But at the end of the day, it is incredibly difficult to get a rune. Well, it's statistically impossible. Like, to get a perfect rune that is not missing any stats is like many millions to one. I mathed it out once, and it's like 10 figures. To get a rune that has not a complete roll missing, yeah, that's a lot easier, obviously, but we could easily put 20 reaps into that rune before we got something better, and those 20 reaps could just be spread out to make 10 other runes usable. So, all right, let's swing back out. So yeah, just especially for the Twitch side, I have noticed on Twitch, like, it is extremely controversial to keep runes that appear to be missing a roll, even when those runes. I think Twitch is much more RTA, and people are much more used to seeing people, streamers jam 50 reaps into one rune, trying to make it the perfect RTA rune. Whereas YouTube has a little bit more diversity of content, and people are more used to seeing, for example, us creating like a greater just plurality of useful runes, what I call optimized runes. But yeah, I would rather see us just continue to make good runes and then save the reaps and farm some more reapp targets and just keep making good runes. So this rune I won't reapp. I personally think it's a sell. I don't really see any use case for it, and you don't really want to reamp Vile with speed and 8. So I think it's a sell. Yeah, and that's the thing, Robert. It is really easy to have that happen. So all right, let's see. 2 here, 1 here with a low gem in. Yeah, this is a nice one. You can definitely hit this. All right, apparently it's defense day, but this one's a lot easier and a lot more straightforward of a keep, I think. Everybody can see the value of a moderate mid-triple, like slightly over mid-triple defense percent. The attack percent here is not the greatest thing ever, but it's not bad, honestly. That is definitely a one and done. And I'm just curious, do we have a speed gem? Let's see. Just to create the visual for anybody who didn't get it. This actually does deserve this. Oh! It honestly, ironically, it does not deserve this. Now, so you guys will find this weird. To me, this does not deserve the legend attack percent. Why? Because attack percent is not going to be a core part of this rune. Defense percent is a core part of this rune. The speed, obviously, was a core part of this rune. I would actually, if this were on my account, I might eventually legend speed grind, but not as a top priority or anything. It would just be like if I had some extra legend speed grinds and I was putting this on a monster, I might legend speed grind it at that point. Or if I had legend gems and I hit a 10, then I'd go 10 plus 5, right? But the attack is not like a critical part of this rune, because nearly every monster that will want to use this rune is not going to care that much about attack. So I would rather save the legend attacks for other runes and just put a hero attack grind on this. Obviously the legend attack could make the efficiency bonkers, but to me it just feels like I would rather save it. So at this point it's basically just gem and grind. But to give you guys the visual, I mean, that's a freaking insane OP rune. And as I'm sitting here going on and on about it, yeah, Abellio and the other monster I just thought of is Cammy, because Cammy is most commonly built on 239. And see, Cammy doesn't necessarily... Cammy would probably rather HP flat. Oh, well, she would rather the attack, but she would... Yeah, no, the attack's... It's just that the defense percent is not the greatest fit for Cammy there. She doesn't really need the defense percent. This is not a Cammy rune. This is... You know what this is? This is a Mainon. This is like... Yeah, because Fang would want resistance. This is a Mainon rune. To go with that crit damage rune, to be honest. That actually is a pretty sick pairing. It'd be hard to get the crit rate up high enough, so you need a monster that awakens into crit to use both of them together, but... Yeah, anyway, I mean, end of the day, I still think this is a hero attack grind. If you have all of your runes fully grinded, like on my account, I would probably throw a legend onto there because I ran R5 nonstop for 2 years. But I think for most people, this is just that's just a hero grind, to be fair. All right, so we did all the stuff with innates on the 246 now, I believe, right? Nothing else. Oh, nope, we missed one more with innate. That's a nice target as well. RTA, I have 20 suggestions, not so much in Siege. Oh, bro, you're killing it, man. You are killing it. I mean, you'll finish minimum G2, but you've got a really, really strong shot for G3, right? 16. I mean, it's just garbage either side. It doesn't actually matter. But this side is technically more usable. You jump in speed. It doesn't matter. You don't use this rune on either side. I thought I was just going to finish G2 and then wrap it up, and then I got tilted by some Layla matches and dropped 100 points. So now I might not even finish. Who knows? I'll probably finish P3. I'll just keep tilting. I'll just keep tilting. That's me. All right, I think we got to chill on this rune. Just find another target. We will come back to this rune, obviously, but it just doesn't want to hit. And so we're going to chill on that one for a minute. We'll find a different target. We'll come back to that one. Listen, I like the crit damage innate on a slot 1. It's always really solid. All right, well, that's a one and done. So some people right now are cringing inside because it is clearly missing stats. These are mostly low rolls all the way across the board. But this is a 110% rune once it's fully gemmed and grinded. And it's got pretty good synergy because you're going to put crit rate right here. And believe it or not, I probably do. No, I just spam the heroes. The thing is, you don't get to use crit rate gems all that often. There's not that many runes that will take gemmed crit rate. So they're not really in high demand. But we'll go to 7, I think, and we'll stop there. And we'll give it one more shot. Again, not a gem that's in high demand. Okay, we'll stop there. Alright, so mostly all we have is legend grind, so we're not going to grind it. But once this rune is fully grinded, this is like a solid, well over 105, close to 110% rune, even though these are all low rolls because it started legend innate. Could this hit 120%? Sure, absolutely could. Can you get like infinite legend with innates through events and through farming nowadays? Absolutely. This is not Summoner's War of 5 years ago where a rune like this was incredibly difficult to come by. A slot 1 legend with innate, that's a re-app target. You should drop that within every few hours of farming in dragons. So I would rather take a rune that has got really good synergy. It's got, you know, double roll into attack. Granted, it's low, but double roll into attack. The extra roll in HP is okay. And then you've got the crit damage, crit rate. It's got great synergy, great damage rune. It's great for a 239 siege offense build. Not siege defense, not RTA, but a 239 siege offense build. This adds great depth to your account. So that's kind of the perspective that I take. What up, Nick? How you doing? Jason, that's not blue. That's actually missing. It would be somewhere again. So the biggest problem here, I think, that everybody has is to call a rune by the grade of the max roll is just mathematically incorrect. The correct evaluation of a rune would be to evaluate it based on the mid-roll range. So that was actually like somewhere between a high hero or a low legend if you went by mid-roll ranges. Again, getting a rune like that is actually harder than you would think. That you could easily put 10 more re-apps into it and not get something that nice. Or you could just do one re-app. Actually, no, this one's kind of rough. The double in speed. You gem out the accuracy for HP. This one is kind of rough though. I mean, this is like 5-6 low mids, 5-6 or high mids, but the 4-4-5 here kind of hurts. I think we can actually go a little further on this one. All right. 2 and 2. I mean, it's clearly better. No matter how you split it, the right side's better, right? The question is it good enough? Yeah, Tyler. So I mean, you can math it out. I did actually math it out in Excel once. But if you math out the odds of getting all max rolls, it's basically the average roll range is like 5 to 8 or 4 to 7, right? So there's 4 possible rolls within a range. So it's like 9 to the 4th power or something like that. It's incredibly, astronomically impossible to get a perfect rune. So crit damage rolls used to feel bad, but in the crit rate meta, crit damage rolls are not a bad thing. Like this is a pretty awesome Carcano rune, for example, where you would typically run Carcano on something like speed, crit rate, HP, or attack, depending on what you expect to counter your defense, right? I mean, you can do them crit damage. Depends on what you expect to. It was 21 crit with like literally nothing else. It was like resistance, accuracy. There was no grindable stat. It was completely unusable. Thank you, Mist. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna unmark this one, and I am not going to re-app it again. I think we're gonna run out of re-app targets based on what I've seen. And I think this one is still somewhat of a viable re-app target because it's basically double low mid and double low. You gem in the attack percent, it does have pretty good synergy though. It's triple grindable, it reaches like 110. I mean, reality is it's a usable rune. I don't know. We'll reevaluate that one later. This is not a re-up target though. 31% HP, especially with the flats a keep. It's actually, I understand that's a quad, but I don't care. This is absolutely like one of the best runes on your account. This would be one of the best runes on my account. I'm super freaking jealous of this rune. All right, so when you get the legend on this, this is 41%, and this is basically another 7 right here because of the flat. It's like a 48% HP slot 1. This is insane. Like 48% HP slot 1 for any kind of trap defense or any kind of tank. This is just absolutely insane. Anything from Vigor to Riley to you name it. I mean, Riley doesn't need the accuracy, but it doesn't matter. This is pretty insane. Azumi, I don't think I can today. We'll see how long it takes to do the re-apps. I mean, if we finished up the re-apps in time, I would, but we have a lot of re-apps left. So this is definitely, you just want to re-gem the speed here. That's why I didn't grind it. And I didn't want to burn your last speed gem. But yeah, just re-gem the speed here. Try and get it to 8. But I mean, if it's 7 plus 4, it's fine. 8 plus 4 is better. Yeah, absolutely insane. Now, if you were to put this on Fang, to be fair, if you were to put this on Fang, you would gem off the speed and you would put resistance on if you're running him with a Leo, assuming you're running him. Garv, what up, bro? Long time no see. Miss Type, I can't remember if I said it, but thank you very much for the grats, man. I appreciate it. We were super stoked. All right, so if the HP had the double here, I don't really mind a flat roll into HP. The low roll speed, the HP not being the double, crit rate an 8. Overall, this is just not a rune I can make a case to keep. This, however, it's a double in accuracy. Double in accuracy kind of hurts here. Could it be a triple in speed? No, it can't be. It's got to be a double in accuracy. Gotta be a double in accuracy. It's not a bad rune. That's the thing. Like you gem in attack percent here. Again, 110% efficiency on an 18 speed rune. But you are missing a lot of stats here with a really premium innate. Yeah, it could technically be one into flat as well. All right. Well, this is 2 and 1 with a 4/4 right here. The right side's more efficient, but the left side is actually just better. I understand the right side had more stats. Left side's just better. Garv dropping the tier 1 sub to D-Power. Garv, thank you very much for the gifted sub, man. Really appreciate it, bro. Hope you're doing well also. Hey, congratulations, man. Congratulations. All right, we're going to revisit this one. Wait, was that 4 or 3? That was 3, right? We'll do one more here. We'll probably revisit this one, same as the other. Oh, never mind. We're done. There it is. That's what we're looking for. Lose 3 speed, but we gain everything else in the world. This actually, absolutely, that accuracy roll is insane. That accuracy roll is insane right there. The gem roll is also kind of insane. All right, so you're going to want to regem that most likely. The efficiency on this rune is through the charts or off the charts. And beyond that, getting high rolls accuracy, because it's a 4 to 8 range, so getting a high double on accuracy is really hard. So this rune is pretty nuts. Not the only, but one way it could have been better, obviously, is if the attack was just like an 8 roll and the other roll went into speed, would have been a little nicer. But overall, super, super nice rune right there. So I would definitely regem the HP before I grind it, whatever. All right, let's see what we got next here. Okay, hero runes we don't re-app. I guess you just grind that. Yeah, that's a fine rune for offense. I'm sure it was just a misclick, not a big deal. This is another one that's just a sell, honestly. What up, Rhino? How you doing, man? Rhino Rhino with the raid. What up, Wampa One? Yeah, I mean, I haven't been streaming as much lately, but when I stream, I tend to stream on both. I tend to stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time now. Rhino, thank you very much. I'm gonna shout it out again just in case you got caught in an ad. Rhino, thank you very much for the raid, bro. Appreciate it. How was your stream? Hope you had a good stream, man. All right, let's swing around to the threes. We'll probably go back to that other slot one. So this on Bio is a little bit harder for me to re-app. I'll be honest, on my account, I do re-app this. I don't re-app it a lot. My rule is I put in 3 re-apps. If I get something useful, I keep it, and if I don't, I sell it. That's how I do it on my account. But I'm a whale, and I get access to a lot more re-apps. So if you're not buying re-apps, I generally would not ever recommend this. On the other hand, premium, pretty premium rate. 25 res could have been nice if we just had like an HP roll here or something. Yeah, welcome oh wait, no, same garbage. Technically defense synergizes better. What was that? That was 3 or 4. What up, Slickies? How you doing, bro? All right, well, this is usable. Sucks on the low res rolls, but this is definitely usable. Still good for the Leo team defense bruiser. Sorry, I didn't follow that one, Cytex. Albert, man, I'm glad the videos were helpful, bro. Someday I'm gonna get back to doing videos. I've got a whole bunch in mind, and I just need to find the time. Mango, I get it, man. I was talking about this earlier. Twitch people look for all RTA re-apps. We are re-apping Trendy's account mostly to try and create siege depth. That is actually not a terrible rune in terms of siege depth. It's not a great rune, but it's not a terrible one. And the thing is, we're likely to have other better targets for the time being. Like this rune is action. I would much rather be putting re-apps into this one than the other one. But it is interesting. I mean, it honestly is. I think because, and I think I hit on it earlier. So Tyler, what you're, okay, so just to clarify, first of all, I talk about efficiency a lot. Efficiency is not the only important thing. Sometimes it's not even close to the most important thing. With rune sets like Vio and Will, efficiency is incredibly important, and speed is incredibly important, and triples are incredibly important. And depending on the rune is whether or not you're looking for more of one or another. Also depending on the focus of your account. So if you are RTA focused, speed for most people, not for idiots like me who try and play turn 2, but for most people, speed is usually the most important thing. For siege defense, speed combined with efficiency is the most important thing. For speed offense, generally just efficiency is the most important thing, because you tend to run a lot of, thank you Bronson, you tend to run a lot of 239 siege offenses. For those who don't know what that means, it's just 239 tickets, generally speaking, a monster that's somewhere around 100 plus 120 speed, which back in the day, that was a really big number. These days, it's not. It's, you know, you get 42 speed from your slot 2. If you're running a monster on a 103 base, then you're looking for about 75, 80 more speed spread over 5 runes. It's an average of about 18 speed per rune. So you go back to a rune like this. Once we grind it, it's 18 speed. We've got an extra roll into HP. You're going to gem the defense percent, so you get 16, 18, 20% defense. If the resistance rolls were higher, this to me would actually be a great rune. The only downside of this, and it's a big downside, is that you get a 4-5 roll into the resistance. But the rest of this rune is actually really solid. It's well synergized in terms of, like, you don't have crit damage combined with resistance, which usually don't fit together. You know, to be fair, the accuracy doesn't fit as well with resistance most of the time either. There's some niche exceptions like Tessarian, but generally speaking, you know, it's well synergized. And it's not a terrible rune for siege offense purposes. So then you have to look at, you know, how many re-apps do you have access to? You know, are you an uber whale? Are you a casual spender? Are you free to play? Are you getting 3 to 5 re-apps a week, or are you getting 50 re-apps a week? And then you take it from there and you figure out, like, is my sole desire in this re-app session to get just the fastest possible runes in a specific slot? So for example, on XG right now, on my personal account, if I were to get a quad Swift slot 5, then my best Swift set would increase, and that would be a huge deal for my Siege offense and my Siege defense and my RTA. So I am re-apping more Swift slot 5 than anything else right now. But that's a specific need for my account. For years, I just re-apped for depth. Every time I got a rune, I would re-app until it was usable, and then I would just use my re-apps on the very next rune that was a good target. And I figured eventually the quads will come. You know, it doesn't really matter which rune I quad on, as long as I get a quad. And so in the meantime, I just make lots and lots of good runes that give me lots and lots of them. So when I talk to somebody about re-apps, I do tend to ask them, you know, those questions. How many re-apps do you have access to? What are your goals? So, and I have it in the pin right now. Trendy's goals right now are general siege depth. That means making lots of useful runes as opposed to just making 1 or 2 OP runes. For example, a siege defense needs 18 runes. So you're not going to get 18 OP runes on 150 runes, but you could get 18 really, really good runes and make a very good siege defense on 150 runes. Just an example. Slickies, it's funny. I actually never mind. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Re-apps never tilt me. Summons tilt me. But re-apps, I guess because I'm a nerd and I've sat down and like mathed out all this stuff, and I know how like insanely impossible it is to ever actually get quads and stuff. Like I just expect every re-app is almost usable. Like if you had a Juliana, I'd probably keep it. Nah, even then. If the, well, no, not with the mineral accuracy. But going back to the original point. So, what is efficiency? Efficiency is a measure of how many stats a rune actually has. That's all it actually is. It's not telling you if the stats are good. It's not telling you if they have synergy. It's not telling you if there's a triple. It is a counting process to tell you how many stats a rune has. Now, if you look at any account, if you look at just my account, right? So, Legend, Guild account, I can flex that now, right? So, account from a Legend Guild, really strong runes. My average siege defense is built between 110 to 115% rune efficiency. Now, does that account for the specific allocation of those stats? No. I might have monsters with 60k HP or YOLO damage or whatever, because I have lots of rune depth, I have lots of flexibility for lots of builds, but the actual volume of stats on my average build, 110% give or take. So that's a really good target. If you're looking for a rune that's about 110%, you're looking to get to runes that are going to be usable at that highest tourney level. Also usable up to like G2 RTA. The thing with that is, it's very possible to get a hero rune that goes well past 110%. So a lot of people look at a rune and they'll say hero, but the reality is it's just mathematically difficult to get runes much past 110%. If you look at my account, tens of thousands of re-apps, millions of dungeons farmed, I have like 8 runes over 120%. Total, not just Vio, like total. I have 8 runes over 120%. When you hit 110%, you're reaching the ceiling of what math will allow you to get, barring a 1 in 100,000 thing. And I don't want to put 100,000 re-amps into any room. So that's kind of what, oh, well, there we go. That sucks. That really sucks, but we're going to take it and roll with it. Man, talk about a rune stalling out at the end right now. That's unfortunate. But the good thing is flat HP is not totally wasted, and defense definitely carries less value in today's game. And 23 speed with 10 crit rate is always going to be useful. So we'll live with the fact that it's not triple grindable. We'll live with the fact that it doesn't greatly synergize, because this is still triple roll with a decent roll into the crit rate. So going back to efficiency, this is not the most efficient rune because we're accepting flat HP, because we're accepting a low triple. But I bet you a lot of people didn't just look at this and immediately think hero, they just saw the 19 speed, right? And I agree with you. This is a usable rune, but it's not amazing. And I don't know if that really gets the point or the concept across, but I mean, basically what it boils down to is rather than putting 10 more reapps into that rune, keep a 23 speed, 10 crit rate, not super efficient rune, and then we move on to the next rune that is completely unusable. What do I think contributed to our win over Mali? That's a fair question. Look, first of all, I just want to say this right at the start. I thought both sides had the best finals map that I've been a part of. I think this was my 6th finals. I haven't been there for every season. I think it was the most challenging map, period, that I've been a part of. And when you get two guilds like Skyfall and Mali that both have somewhere around 93% win rate in a finals, that tells you a lot, because we are like 97% normally. It was a legit tough map. It was incredibly close. It was incredibly intense. I talked about this earlier. It came straight down to the very last hits and to the very last minute. So I don't know that I really want to say any one specific thing contributed, because I don't want to diminish like what a crazy close siege it was, how good Mali did. But I'll just say, I mean, it was teamwork. We worked really hard. We prepared really well. We came up with our best map ever, and we pulled off a close siege because we all worked together. That's pretty much the best answer I can give you. I don't think there was like any one specific thing that you could point to and be like, oh, somebody inted, or that didn't happen. I don't think anybody inted on either side. I don't think you can point to like any one player being weak. If that wasn't the case, I think every player did a good job in finals. I think Mali definitely worked together as a team as well, so I don't want to say like we had better teamwork. It was stupid close. Like, it didn't look like it if you didn't see the map, because we wound up winning by a good number of points, but what we won by was one attack. We won one more attack, or more specifically, we lost one less attack than Mali. We had a slight advantage in points, or in macro, however you want to say it. Again, emphasize slight advantage in points going into hour 8, and then we won one more attack. It was super, super close. One of the most fun gaming days I've ever had, and super freaking intense. All right, this rune would be amazing as a with Leo rune. If you had more Leos, I would actually be inclined to keep it. But having only one Leo, it's really, because you can only have so many with Leo runes when you only have one. And we don't have a lot of no innate reap targets, so we are going to continue going on this one. I just want to point out, I actually keep this on my account. I keep this, I gem defense percent over the crit damage, and I run it as like a with Leo rune or a Fang rune, something, something like that. But that only works when you have, like, I have 6 Leos. So it works when you have 6 Leos. It doesn't work when you don't. See, and honestly, like, a lot of people might look at the right side and be like 17 speed. I'll tell you, 17 speed is too slow to be a speed. 17 speed does nothing. 21 speed does nothing. It's not a fast rune, it's a generic rune, and then the rest of this rune has literally no stats, especially for slot 5. I would far rather have a super efficient 0 speed rune that I can run in certain slow comps than to have an empty 21 speed rune. If it was an empty 26 speed rune, okay, maybe. If it was an empty 29 speed rune, that's for me, that's about my level. I'll start to keep empty runes when they're about 29, but each account is different. But yeah, the right side just had no value. All right, so that's too many there. How fast was the Dark Series defense? So there were a variety of Dark Series defenses built in a variety of ways. Some of them were built anti-Julie, some were built anti-Lucian, some were built Swift, some were built 286 efficient, some were built 286 damage. You will never, in any tournament map, I don't care which guild it is, if it's a tournament guild, and probably if it's a G3 guild, and you see a lot of the same defenses run, they will all be built in different ways, because if you build them all the same way, then all the other side has to do is find one counter to counter the way that you build them. But if you build them in a variety of ways, then they have to find a counter that can counter all of those different builds. So you would see some, you know, I don't know, plus 230 Eschers somewhere, and you would see some, you know, plus 70 Eschers, and everything in between. Dude, Bronson, it was freaking intense, man. It was seriously intense. It was a lot of fun, but it was seriously intense. Man, see, this is another one. I feel like there's a sell, to be honest. Yeah, I just feel like there's probably a sell. Attack innate on crit rate. Granted, most crit rate monsters, most monsters you use crit rate runes on, they care more about HP or defense, but still, the attack innate. I mean, that's a rough rate. Well, I mean, innately you're gonna miss 15% of the time on every monster, no matter what. Okay, Trendy says sell. Go ahead and sell it then, just to clean it up. See, like, to me, this is still a re-up. I mean, it's just a max roll blue rune, basically. But I do, before I re-up it, I want to make sure that it's not randomly, like, fastest rune or anything. It actually is your second fastest rune. Well, tied for. Okay. And then a drop off to 14. Man, that's actually tough, because to me that's a straight re-app, except it's your second fastest rune. Tied for your second fastest rune. 15-4. The thing is, in order to use this rune, I guess you would have to gem attack over crit damage, and you treat the flat HP like it's an AP. You grind the flat HP and you're getting yeah, I rechecked everything, Trendy. I rechecked everything. I feel like you gotta keep re-apping it. It's just, again, 23 speed, 22 speed doesn't actually change anything. We're not talking about like a, you know, if it's like a 24 speed empty rune or something, yeah, you keep that. It doesn't matter. You find a way to use it, but 22 speed, that's rough. I feel like that's probably still a re-app. Yeah, I think we still gotta go on that one. It's just that's gonna sit in your inventory forever until what'll happen is this will sit in your inventory until you have faster runes. You will never use it. You just won't re-app it until you have faster runes, and then you'll re-app it 6 months down the line anyway, right? But it's gonna get re-apped at some point. It's never gonna get used. So HP Bruiser on this one, I mean, you could technically put HP percent over the crit damage, or yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just rough. It's just HP Bruisers really want more efficiency than this rune is providing, is what it boils down to. This side at least has more rolls in it. The rolls have literally zero synergy. Crit rate resistance, honestly, the left side is still better, because the crit rate resistance, there's two monsters in the game, basically, that would ever want it, which is Xingzei or Xingzei or Tasarian. Occasionally an Odin or Savannah resistance might be it's basically only two monsters in the game that would really want to use a rune like this, and both of them, Xingzei and Tasarian, they would want attack on this one, so it just doesn't really make any sense there. Q50, thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it. What up, Adrenaline? How you doing, man? All right, that is definitely better. That is definitely better. Is a good no, but it's better. We got a double it. It's a low double into speed, but it's mid double in crit rate, mid double in attack. This one I feel like you can actually do. I mean, this is again kind of going back into that whole counting of stats thing, right? This rune will finish once you gem and grind it. This rune will finish with somewhere around 10 rolls, which is it's a very solid rune. It's not fast. It's not gonna carry your siege defense or anything, but it will fit really well into a lot of siege offense builds. So at this point, I think we can look for the next target, find a better target, such as this one right here. And we can get our first quad of the day. That'll work. That will definitely work. Dude. All right. And we got the 9 on that. All right. So with this rune right here, the actual question is, do we gem over resistance and crit rate? But I already know what I'm gemming. I want to hear what you guys think we should gem. I think the siege players will all give me one answer and everybody else will give me a different answer. No, but what should we gem in? What do we put in? Wow, so Porch is the only one so far. Okay, now Tyler's saying attack. Robert's saying attack. Yeah, so it's mixed. To me, this flat HP all day long. 100% this flat HP. Now, attack percent does give you the most efficiency. So this goes back to that whole point we were talking about earlier. Efficiency is really important. It's a great counting or measuring stick, but it is not the only thing that matters. And this rune is 44% HP right now. You're probably not going to regrind it because 9 is so hard to improve, right? So it'll always be 44% HP. If we add another 1000 HP flat HP, that's a 54% HP rune. That's basically like adding an extra slot 6 HP almost. For purposes like siege defense, that's crazy OP, but also for siege offense. You put a rune like this on either a Vigor or a Riley. I'm taking two ends of the extreme, so an HP bruiser or a pure tank, and give them that extra HP, and it's just that, like, Vigor scales equally to attack and HP. His multiplier is exactly equal to attack and HP, so you give him the extra HP, and it's actually better because he's tankier and he's still gaining damage. Also, if you give him like 16% attack on a base 550 attack, you're gaining like 80 attack, whereas 1000 flat HP it's probably about the same. It's probably like 8%, but yeah, overall you just go flat HP here. Now the real question is, do we go resistance or crit rate? The real question in my eyes, I should say, is do we go resistance or crit rate? And the trick to this one is, everybody said over crit rate. These are both min rolls. But while a monster like Riley wants resistance, a monster like Vigor wants crit rate, and a monster like Riley is not sad about having crit rate. 4 resistance is pretty unlikely to change my build, but the tipping point for me is the fact that it's accuracy innate. So a monster like Riley or Lulu is never going to benefit from that accuracy innate. This rune could land on them, but this rune could also land on a lot of other monsters, like the Kumar that we summoned earlier, like a Vigor, like a Ritesh. It could also land on a Kinky. So that's the kind of the ends of the extreme. Kinky has no value in crit rate. Ritesh wants the crit rate over the res. Vigor wants the crit rate over the res. Riley wants probably the res over the crit rate, but Riley can benefit from the crit rate a little bit. So it really, there's a case to be made both ways, and this is where I kind of lean towards the efficiency aspect. Resistance is 4 to 8 on the roll. Crit rate is 4 to 6 on the roll. Crit rate also synergizes with accuracy more often than resistance synergizes with accuracy. So while it is very true that some monsters may have wanted the 4 resistance on the rune, I feel like in general use case, you will get a little bit more value by leaving the crit rate on because it's technically a higher roll by percentage of a max, so it's harder to replace. In other words, I can get 16 resistance on another rune with 2 rolls, but I can only get 12 crit rate on a rune with 2 rolls. So the 4 resistance is, it's easier to make up. The 4 crit rate is harder to replace. For that reason, I would gem over the resistance and keep the accuracy crit rate synergy. Trendy, but that's my case, and I want to be real clear. A lot of people said gem over crit rate. You absolutely could, and I don't think you go wrong either way. A lot of it just depends on which monster it lands on. If it lands on a Riley or a Lulu or a Kinky was a great example. Every one of those monsters would rather have the resistance thing. But if it lands on a Vigor, a Ritesh, a Kumar, a Mainon, etc., you know, so it's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah, it's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So Trendy, you just tell me which way you'd rather go, resistance or crit rate. Freaking insane rune. Freaking insane rune. That is that thing is thick. Or I can just leave it and you can gem it when you honestly, that's probably the way to go. I'll just leave it and you gem it when you figure out where this build is gonna land. And then you can make your decision at that. I think for the long term of the rune, you'll get a hair more value by leaving in the crit rate, but again, 6 of them. All right, we'll go ahead and save that. Take a look at what we've got next. So this, I know we do. Oh, he says drop the res. Okay. We can just sort by HP. Pretty easy to find. All right. So one time 580. One time 580. All right, we are definitely going. Wow, that's just harsh. That is just harsh. All right, all good. So honestly, you're probably legend grind that speed at some point as well, because this rune will be in use and rotation as long as you're playing this game. But we're not going to grind the flat HP. You are going to regem that flat HP. It will drop eventually. I mean, do some R5. The flat HP will redrop, so we won't waste your grind. Mark II, right? Yeah. All right, so we do also have something like 101 ancient reapps. This is a pretty premium target. Now, everything I said before about taking usable runes, that gets less value when it comes to ancient runes, because obviously getting an ancient rune with a name is significantly harder than getting a legend with a name. I can go farm, like guys, I've been literally, okay, I'm just gonna show you this right now. Literally just looked at my screen on the other, you know, looked at my account farming. Bam! I mean, the first rune I looked over at, it's legend with an 8. Like, I guarantee you, in the time I have farmed this right now, I have probably farmed like a dozen. Ooh, that sucks. That's a re-up target. But I guarantee you, like, just during this stream, I've probably farmed, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 at least. Legend with an 8, right? No an 8 there. Legend and 8, wrong, obviously wrong. There you go. Legend and 8 on Despair, because right now I'm reapping Despair, so that's one. Legend and 8, wrong thing, because it's HP, but still. So it looks like 2. We got 2. Oh wait, nope. We got 3, because I don't care. I'll re-up on a Swift 5. I don't care about defense, so that's a re-up target. That's 4, so we've gotten 4. This one, this is not a re-up. It's just, well, this just make sure it doesn't quad first, but it's a straight slam. Yeah, so in the time I've been streaming, I've already dropped 4 potential re-up targets. So just to my point, like, whatever, I have fast teams. I know not everybody gets 4 re-up targets in 2 hours, but I'd rather just make 100 good runes with 100 re-ups and just farm more re-up targets. Now, you can make exceptions when you're talking about slot 4s and 6s in particular, maybe slot 2 speed. Those are the places where you're going to put the most re-ups. For everything else, it's just get it usable and keep it. But when you get to Legend, Ancient, Innate, that's a whole different story. This is the rune we want to be absolutely freaking amazing. This is the one where we don't make compromises, because you're not going to get a lot of these targets. As I'm talking about it, this rune is actually pretty insane. I said you don't make compromises. Both sides of this are actually pretty good, to be honest. But wait, is that just? That's not even. That's 1 into HP, 1 into speed, 2 into crit. So that's just a max flat. That's just a max flat roll. I guess Ancient has a higher starting flat HP. It's not a roll into flat. Because yeah, it's 1 into HP, 1 into speed with a max roll basically, and then it's got to be 2 into crit rate. So this is there. You how what how? 10 plus 4. Yeah, it has to be 1 into HP, 1 into speed. Oh, there it is, 435. Okay, so the max is 435. Yeah, so that is like just a hair shy of max. Okay. Yeah, I kept looking at the right side. I guess it's that's like grind. That's additional roll range. I was looking at the 375. Yeah, so there you go. This is pretty insanely efficient. It's missing 2 here, missing 1. Well, technically it's missing 4 because it starts higher, but missing 2 here. Well, all right. So if we go by Ancient, missing 4, missing 1, missing 2. I guess you start 766. Yeah, but I mean, whatever. However you want to put it, this rune is pretty insane. All right. Well, I thought we were gonna be like slamming 50 re-ups into that, but no. Two re-ups for 125% rune. That sounds about right. Yeah, 2 re-ups. I'm pretty sure that actually gets close to 125. I'd have to check it. We can actually figure it out. Hang on. So now I'm kind of curious, to be honest. Just how OP is that rune? I'm gonna just do it this way, right? It was slot 1. There we go. All right, so you put your grinds on this. We don't have any, right? But I think with the accuracy here, so yeah, we're just gonna gem attack percent over the HP, right? It's a 7 to 13 gem, so we'll call it like 11 plus 8 on here. Hero grinds are max 9, but we'll call it 8, right? So you get 22, and then you get 19. So that's 41. 17 here, and 17 here is 34. So it's just over 5 rolls on the counting stats, plus the accuracy, so 5.5 rolls. And then 34 is just under 6 rolls, so it's 11 and change. So yeah, it's about 120, 122% rune with heroes only, and not even max heroes. So just like non-max heroes, you'll hit somewhere around 120% on this rune. Slam in legends, and this is like 135. It's freaking insane. All right. All right, so we got a couple of nice slot 2 re-up targets. Might be an upgrade, but it's not a keep grade. That's a keeper. That's a keeper. Yeah, I think we'll keep 24 crit rate on a slot 2 speed. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that's quad. Low quad. No, it's a mid quad technically. 25 is straight mid roll, so it's just 1 off a mid quad. 20 would be a low quad. The only downside to this is the AC. If the AC was just HP or attack, this would be so much better. But with the crit rate, all right, bro, go get your. Let's re-app it a little further. Yeah, I think with the flat attack, since it's grindable, yeah, flat HP here, man. This is actually a tough one. I feel like you gem HP over accuracy. Wind up with no attack, but it's still a good bruiser rune. Then the flat attack has less value. No, I guess you gem. Yeah, so if we're thinking about it, because like if you, so here's the thing: if you gem attack percent over accuracy, you have no HP. On a will rune, no HP is not good because defense means so much less in the artifact game. You know, true damage and all that. So you really need to put HP on this rune. And if you put HP on this rune, then the flat attack doesn't really mean nearly as much as accuracy for most of the monsters that would want it, because most HP bruisers rely more on debuffs in a longer fight. So I think in this case, you would actually put the HP over the flat attack, even though it's only double grindable. And that's just pretty much it. You would just accept the fact that you're not getting that extra grind and that you're gonna have no attack percent. Yeah, there you go. Insane Carnal. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy Carnal rune. Honestly, efficiency-wise, I think it's still pretty much the same. I'm not even thinking about efficiency. I'm just thinking about rune synergy, because you kind of want to have some attack with 20. Like, you see 24 crit rate, the first thing you think of is attack. But there's really no good way to put attack on this rune, because the defense is just not carrying value, right? Like, defense just doesn't mean that much in the modern summoners. It means something. It is important, but for a monster that has 24 crit rate, it means a whole lot less. So at that point, you're just going to make it a bruiser rune with HP, and then the accuracy has more value, so you gem it. Hey, Cool Blue, have a good night, bro. Defense percent for attack percent, yeah. Yeah, also, and I agree, Dolphin, also the flat HP innate's going to synergize better there. I think, yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just HP over attack. Yeah, it's just what it is. You keep the 6 accuracy. It's not the most efficient rune ever, but it will guaranteed be used on monsters from now until the end of your days in Summoner. This 24 crit rate on a slot 2 speed is pretty nutty. I do think it's worth the legend, but I'll let you confirm that. Cool. All right, then there it is. Oh, we'll take that. That goes a long way. That goes a short way. All right. Well, you're gonna redo it either way. Okay, there we go. That goes a long. And yeah, this gets all the love. All right, we'll save the last one. So I'm gonna mark that grind because you want to regrind the defense a little bit more. That's still a really sexy one. Yeah, exactly. I would agree. I would agree with that, Tyler. I would agree with that. That's the thing too. I don't mind nearly as much when the never mind. Looked a lot more interesting to begin with. Yeah, it's 1-1-1. That's a double 4. Actually, that's a triple into speed. So it's 4-4-4, and then 4-4 on the crit rate, and then 5-6 on the defense. It's almost min roll everywhere. Almost min roll everywhere. This is actually really good. Slot 2 HP, you don't care that much about attack percent. You really like flat attack. This is actually a really useful rune. Siege wise, maybe RTA. Might be a little slow for RTA. Might be depends on your team. Like, it's probably a little slow for RTA, especially because it's slot 2 HP. But siege wise, this is really solid. So this one is just straight defense over AC. This is a premium any kind of support unit rune. There's premium Riley, Lulu, any kind of support. Basically. Adrenaline, I didn't see which one you were referring to when you said you take that over the other. So this still needs a little bit of grinding. The speed was low, and I would eventually regrind the flat HP and try and get 500. But this is definitely, I mean, the resistance rolls are high. I'll tell you another monster this would work really nicely on is like a release. Again, any kind of support you need, so. Recharge my energy. I mean, flat HP is really useful, but not when it counts for 2 rolls on the rune. I mean, I add a lot of value to flat HP, but not when it's 2 rolls. Like I'll take runes that have 1 roll in flat HP with good synergy, but I don't really ever take a rune that has 2 rolls into flat HP. Azrael with the raid, bro. I'll give you. Okay, let me just take that one and call it a day. Adrenaline dropping the tier 1 sub. Thank you very much, Adrenaline. Very much appreciated, man. I hate the defense percent here. It's totally wasted, and we'd have to keep it in gem and speed. Missing a roll, but this is not like my favorite re-app target. You don't use a lot of slot 2 HP. You use some. Don't use a lot. I think we can hit it 2 more, and if we don't improve, then we keep it where it's at. That's kind of my thought. That was 2 more. All right. I feel like I want to leave this marked. I'm not super happy with this one. The 0 speed, like you gem in speed, that's fine. I mean, yeah. It's not the greatest for a PvE rune. It would be more like a Crow or a Route type PvE rune, but even then the defense is just wasted. You almost always prefer HP, because all those monsters you use in PvE have a lower, like proportionately lower defense to HP, so you scale better on HP. It's just, to me it's still a re-app target, but it's also, we've already put our 5 into it, and it's not one that I want to continue with at the moment, because it could, in theory, land on a monster at some point, I suppose. Here, I think this is actually good enough to keep. Literally just grind it. And you're not going to re-app it because of the HP innate. But it's got enough stats. If you grind it, you may find a use for it somewhere. I mean, I think it's good enough to keep and throw like some basic hero grinds onto it, but nothing more than that. Much more viable re-app target here. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? They're both pretty bad. Okay, that is definitely usable. That is definitely usable. Just need, we're out of speed. Yeah, I will take that one. I will take that one all day long. How many like really, so Tyler, that's an interesting question. So I will say, again, kind of going back to account specific, what your box is, what your goals are, right? Just to bring the rune back up while I talk about it. All right, so I think for 98% of us, it is speed. Because if you think about most use cases for this rune, if you put defense, like, here's the thing. It's a will rune. So a double will Leo is pretty much always being built in an ultra tank build and doesn't care about crit rate, crit damage. And an offensive Leo is going to be on either Vio or Vamp and certainly will not have will runes. So this rune could never land on a Leo. This rune could only land on monsters that are built to go with Leo. And those monsters that go with Leo are a mixture of supports and bruisers that scale on additional damage stuff. So the closest use case I could think of for this is maybe a damage Gyu, and ironically, we passed on Gyu to take Layla on a blessing where we knew that the Gyu was new, so we know he doesn't have a Gyu. Tyrannus has such a low base speed, and he scales to defense. So if you put defense on this, like, I don't know. I guess there, you know what, to be fair, there is that new Talasha Leo comp where you might run, but again, you just wouldn't put Will on Leo. Now, Slickies is right. It is a decent Helena rune. It is a good Helena rune. But it just comes back to the fact that he only has one Leo. He can't run that many different Leo comps. And I think when you only have one Leo, 9 times out of 10, you just run it Leo Fang. Like, yeah, it's a really good. This Slickies is right. This is an OP Helena rune. But I think like when you have a bunch of Leos, then you start to value these 0 speed runes a whole lot more than when you have one. So I would say that this is probably going to be speed, but the thing with this is you can always change it because you're just gemming out that one spot, right? So you put speed on it now, you summon a couple of Leos later, you swap it over to defense later, that type of thing. Pretty OP double Nem Firewall, pretty OP Cassandra rune, yeah. Rocky also I mentioned, so any of those kind of like double Nem Will builds, it'd be OP for any of those, but all of those would want speed because the double Nem doesn't really give you that much value if you're on 0 speed also. So yeah, I think in pretty much every use case I could think of, unless you have like 3, 4, 5 Leos, it's going to be speed. But at some point in the future, you pull those Leos, you just swap it over for defense, no harm, no foul. So this is triple res, 1 into defense. Side text, I would actually say Rocky more than there. So if Firecast is a different use case, but like a Rocky. So when I built my first Rocky in RTA, I had her just like max damage, and they would actually just kill her despite the nemesis. So I wound up putting Rocky at somewhere around 130, 140k effective HP, and that build's been way more effective. So if you were running like a Rocky, then that would make more sense than like, or an Ian. I don't have Ian, but for example, Light Ezio, any monster that doesn't have death prevention passive, basically, those monsters want to be a little bit tankier. But it's still, anytime you're on a double Nemesis build, you need some speed in there. Like all those double Nemesis builds we see over on Rocky, Ian, you name it, they're all going to be built at somewhere around 200 speed, because otherwise the Nemesis doesn't allow you to cut when the opponent is built at 270 to 300. So, for the most part, I think it's going to be speed. Yeah, Cytex, I'm actually thinking this is a keep. That's why I haven't hit it yet. This has everything. Like, it's the low HP is what sucks, but there are resistance-built monsters that defense scale. And you have 2 routes that you could go here. Now, as we talk about Leo builds, ironically, this is an OP Leo because the double will Leo build. So at that point, you could regem the HP percent for a higher HP percent, and then you get like the 3 stats. I mean, he wants accuracy also. Technically, it'd be better if it was accuracy instead of crit rate, but you're splitting hairs at that point. You get the really high defense rolls. It's actually not missing a full roll, so if a max double's 24, but remember, resistance rolls on a 4 to 8 range. This is actually an over mid triple on the resistance. So like a true mid triple is 24, and so this is a high mid triple on resistance. I think you have 2 ways you can go. You can gem in speed and put this on any kind of defense scaling bruiser, a Bellio, yeah, as OP Fang rune. I don't even think it's about highest res. I think it's just too good of a rune to re-up. I mean, it's just got incredible synergy. The real question for me here is, do you regem HP percent, or do you put speed over flat HP? That's the hardest one for me, because I could also see this being just fine on a Riley. Even though the HP percent is low, Riley needs lots of defense. I could see this being good on a lot of different monsters. So the only thing I'm actually thinking about here is what do you gem? Yeah. Annabelle, I mean, this is another one of those where you could just really go either way on it. I mean, no matter what you're saving. So let's just say that. No matter what you're saving it, I think you put the speed over the HP for the one reason that it preserves your flexibility. Well, and the other reason too is the flat HP is also a really good. So yeah, I think you go speed over flat HP. If this were like a high roll, if this were 300, I might be I might be swayed. Swayed and persuaded turns into swayed. I might be persuaded or swayed in the other direction. But yeah, I think you just put the speed over flat. I think you just put the speed over flat on this one. You deal with it being a slightly lower roll on the HP, and it still has a lot of use cases. All right. This is super efficient, but the defense just doesn't fit as well on this rune. HP defense accuracy is great. Attack HP accuracy is great. Obviously, having speed on one of these would be great. But the attack defense lacks some synergy. I mean, there are monsters that would appreciate this pairing, but it's also slot 5, which is typically your the slot that can give you the highest overall efficiency. These are low rolls, and the attack is mid-roll, and you're missing that quad grindable option, so you're not making up for it. So the combination of it not having great synergy and it missing a lot of stats, to me at that point, this does become a re-up target. This is still re-up. I mean, that looks pretty, but it's not for a slot 5. It's not enough. Yeah, if this were attack right here, I'd probably keep this. But because it's HP, so you're saying just add speed there, but now you're talking about, again, slot 5 is the quad grindable slot. So on this one, if you put in the speed, you've got a 12 speed Lucian rune with no attack. That's basically what it is. It's a 12 speed Lucian rune with no attack. Yeah, but see, the HP damage dealers are, most of them are built on crit rate. I mean, the crit damage here is nice, but they still scale off attack. I mean, it's just, now you're talking 21% and 21% HP and 12 speed. So you're really putting yourself into the niche of basically werewolves. It's like Vigor Escher at that point. And yeah, for Destroy, this would be a different conversation. I think for Destroy, you could convince me to keep it. But for Will, it just, I don't think it synergizes well enough. Yeah, it's just, I mean, honestly, my use case for this is gem attack over resistance and put it on some sort of zero speed nuker, which is basically Lucian. It could theoretically be a Julie rune. That's pretty much it. It's like Lucian Julie, and it's too slow for a siege offense Julie, so it's a PvE Julie rune. Even then, it's too slow. Rakan's base speed makes him, again, really hard to use a 12 speed rune on Rakan. Like, this is just got to go on a high base speed unit, so it's just a little too limited. Different set, different conversation, and see, kind of you get the same issue here though. Who wants 16 speed, 10 crit damage, 14 minutes? It's not like blazing fast. 16 speed is pretty when you have all the other stats with it. But 16 speed does nothing as an empty slot 5. This is actually still better on the left side. It's too slow to be an empty speed rune, basically. See, this one has all the rolls, but this is still better on the left side because, again, lack of synergy. All right, now we're moving into something that is potentially more useful. This has the missing attack percent, the accuracy has synergy. Absolutely no efficiency on this rune. Let's be clear, absolutely no efficiency on this rune. But, oh, by the way, Holy Spigoli, what up, bro? How you doing? I am simulcasting, yeah. Yeah, I started doing that since I only stream once a month now. I did start simulcasting. All right. feel like I might have missed something when you're talking about. I feel like I might have missed something with what you're talking about, Robert. So let's see. It's 1 into attack, 1 into crit rate, 2 into accuracy. I think he's still re-app it. It does have a lot more use case than the previous rune. Definitely has more use case, but it's still missing a lot of stats, in particular for me in a slot 5. At the moment, it's basically a PvE rune and nothing. I don't think it's worth wasting this as a PvE rune unless you're trying to build your first PvE. It's like when you don't have a PvE team all day long, I'd be all about it. But I mean, unless you're just like, you know, like I said, if you're just building your first teams, it makes sense. But no, I think from here we still go a little bit further. And now we got the synergy. We lost a roll there, and you kind of want to re-gem speed here. I think I could do that side tech. So it would probably be, the only thing is it might not be until April, depending on if the vacation we're trying to take comes together. And literally, so my stepdaughter goes on spring break in 6 days, and we're still trying to find somebody to watch the dogs. We've been trying for weeks, so may not happen. May not happen, but I'm hoping it does. So if it does, then I probably wouldn't be available till almost mid-April. Actually, now we talk a lot about Fang runes and stuff. This is a pretty sick Fang rune. If you gem the speed out for res, the flat defense goes with the defense, but it's just not. You're gonna have plenty of better opportunities for a Fang rune, honestly. However, that's a lot of reapps into one target. So this is gonna be our last one. We'll move along. We're not gonna remark it. We're not gonna keep it, but we'll move along from it. At this point, I can see this landing on a Fang, but it's just not really a good use. I think that's it for there. And then we do have this one. I don't want to put a lot of reapps into this, but defense runes have gained a lot more value, even on siege defense. So one of the defense wins I got in final was actually 2 triple. Yeah. It was Carcano, Nikki Laura, and Nikki and Laura were both on triple defense builds. Don't know that they actually tried to sell me or not. I don't know, but that was the build. Okay, that is pretty decent, honestly. You got a double 1/1. Yeah, this is pretty well done for me. You could go a couple of ways here on this one. You could honestly put in the flat defense if you're trying to use it as a siege defense build. You could put in flat HP. No, it would go flat defense. Most likely you're going to go attack because of the crit damage innate. So this is most likely going to go on a defense scaling bruiser, running it with a slot 4 crit rate rune. So at that point the attack percent makes the most sense. But you could put flat defense on this as well for siege defense purposes, I think, or any kind of anti-Sonya RTA as well. But yeah, like Tyler said, at the end of the day, good flexibility. So that's definitely done. We're going to swing back through a couple of the Vio runes that we just stopped because they didn't want to roll before. We'll see if they want to roll now. For an accuracy rune, I mean, it's still garbage, but... Alright. I mean, this is... Okay, it's clearly better. It's clearly not good. Mid-roll, good single roll and speed, but accuracy, it's pretty... Okay, that we will take. That we will take. I think somebody mentioned earlier they have trouble using accuracy runes unless they're really fast. I will say, for the most part, that is true. You are not going to find value in having a lot of slow accuracy runes. I will guarantee you're not going to, like, want to have like 10 runes that look like this one. But there are some builds that you'll run at around 239. You know, there are some 239 siege offense builds that you'll run where you really do want the accuracy. And when you get a rune like this, which is basically 115, 120% efficiency, that's exactly, especially, I mean, the only thing is I do really wish the attack rolls were in the HP, but 120% rune you keep, period. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It'll land on some monster somewhere. So however you split it, It'll land on somebody somewhere sometime. I would not put it on anybody. The optimizer would put it on somebody for me. As an example, I could see that going on a 239 Clara, for example. Like Siege Defense, 239 Clara. I could definitely see that rune landing. That's the first one that comes to mind. You don't run a Lucia at 239 that often. She's mostly 286. But if you ran a Lucia on a Siege offense with a speed lead, you can get away with a 12-speed rune on 286 builds. You can get away with like one 12-speed rune on a 286 build when you have a speed lead. So I could see that landing on a Lucia. I could also see that landing Carcano. I could definitely see that being on a 239 Carcano. Again, crit rate, but I have used accuracy runes on Carcano in the past if I think people are trying to like bring in Fang or resistance build. Like if I think the offense is calling for a counter that would be resistance builds. Yeah, there you go. No, that was Vio. I don't know that you would use Vio that often on a Gyu, but yeah, I mean it's got its uses. It doesn't have infinite uses. Like I said, you would never want to have like a lot of those runes, but you would definitely want to have some of those runes. Mainon is another one. I really value accuracy on her, and that was really high defense. So it's 21 attack, 21 defense. That's kind of perfect for a Mainon build. I could definitely see that going on a 239 Mainon on offense. That one makes a lot of sense for me. Yeah, I think that's probably my best use case would be a Mainon. Alright, this one I went back and forth on. I still don't... this one to me is like so on the line. But we've got 80 reapps left. We don't have a whole lot of great targets left. I think we can make a case for improving this one dramatically in one go. That's that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dramatically improve this rune with one reapp, and then we're done. Does this justify legend? I feel like it probably does, right? The accuracy rolls are low, but at the end of the day, it's still 110, 15%, right? So let's say we land 11 on the legend, right? So your 24 and 14 is 38. 38 is just shy of 5 rolls for 3/4. Add in the 10 accuracy actually, so it's 48. So that's 6 rolls straight. With a 3 here is 9. It's actually not quite as efficient as I was thinking. It's like 107, 108. About 108% rune for a slot 1, and probably not quite reaching legend level for me. I would probably gem hero on this. Yeah, I think there's just a hero gem, so we'll just mark it. Yeah, I think that's just a hero gem. But still, that rune is 1,000 times nicer than it was before when it was just kind of like right on the line. Alright, this was the other one. We kind of... probably didn't need to 15 that. I think 12 would have been sufficient, but muscle memory, and we got plenty of it. Alright, this... I feel like we almost just keep this as like a Lucian broken rune. But no, it's not quite there. It's not... I mean, it is actually a decent 0-speed broken set rune, but yeah, it's not quite there. Tell you what though, if we get to 5, we keep it. That's worse. This is 5. Alright, so we keep it. I don't think I'm gonna unmark it re-app, but if it does land on somebody at some point, you can just unmark it re-app and keep it there. Man, I don't know about that one. This one I think we can hit again now. Yeah, we could definitely... Holy shit, what is this rune? Dude! This actually might beat that HP rune. This is actually better than that other HP rune. Holy shit. perfect synergy too. This gets Legend all day long, and this one's not really a decision to make at all. 41, right? 41? Ah, rip. All right. Honestly, you're gonna wind up legend grinding all of this at some point, but we're not gonna spam them today. HP is a better stat in general, absolutely. But there are monsters that will nut for this rune. Like this crazy, for a 205, 239 Fang rune, Abellio, a lot of the other defense scaling monsters we've talked about before. It's pretty, not to mention, this is the third uber defense rune of the day, right? So, because there was this one. There was this one, and then there was also this one. So the reason I did not gem the res there, for what it's worth, is because of the accuracy innate. So in terms of synergy, the landing spot for this rune is, first of all, my first thought is this rune lands on a Fang more often than not, even though the Fang, like it won't be a Fang with Leo because of the speed. But more often than not, it's going to land on some sort of a Fang build. At that point, Fang values the resistance and accuracy a lot more than crit damage. But beyond that, I think you're going to wind up with this being on a lot of monsters where the accuracy resistance synergize better than the accuracy crit damage do. I don't disagree. Like if you're gemming for a specific monster like a Mainon or a Abellio, then the crit damage has more value there. But I think in terms of just like an all-purpose rune, not knowing where it lands, the overall synergy is a little better in this rune. I think you can easily make the case for both, but this to me makes all 5 stats work together. All right. Yeah, so that one's done. That just needs its grinds. I mean, realistically, what you do with this is gem in speed. It's a double in one. You put a re-app into it, you can. I don't know, Trendy. If we gem in speed, this rune is probably not usable. It doesn't have much synergy either. I'm on the fence. Like on my account, I said this earlier. On my account, I would re-app this 3 times. If it hit something, I'd be happy, and if it didn't, I would sell it. But there is that whole thing about me having access to more re-apps because I'm a whale, and so I don't know that I recommend necessarily re-apping this for everybody. So I kind of leave it up to you as to if you want me to hit it 3 times, sell it. I don't think gemming in speed is worth the gem. I just don't think it's going to get used if you put it in speed. There's a small use case for like a vigor, but it's just not that efficient. If once you gem in the speed, it's just missing so many stats. $72 left. We're thin on Vio will targets. We haven't looked at any other sets yet either. So if you have other sets, like if you want to do Despair, if you want to do Destroy's not so much in the meta, and Swift is a little bit speed chasing. But if you want to do Despair, I don't know. I mean, probably there's still plenty of re-apps, but just let me know what your preference is. We may have lost Trendy. Trendy may not have even seen that last rune. Alright, well, without his go-ahead, I'm not going to burn the re-app, so we'll move along. But now I have a separate issue here. I think that was the last of the clear targets. So I actually would need to know how Trendy wants me to proceed, or I would not really re-app anything further. Oh, this one Yeah, we talked about this one earlier. This one, I think, still kind of on the fence with this one as well. I don't love the attack here, but I guess it kind of has to be. That's it. Oh, we missed this one entirely. Okay, we do have one good target here. Almost, but not quite. Okay, that works. It's not great, but see, the thing with this one, if you gem in HP, it's an amazing 0-speed rune. If you gem in speed, it's not that amazing of a rune. It's a semi-usable rune, but as we've said, HP has more value than defense. I mean, you keep it because it's... I mean... Yeah, it's like... He wants to add depth to his box. Yeah, the thing is, it's just... Like, if I re-up this further, it's not... To me, that's not the correct decision. It's not, like, the craziest good re-up target in the world. For starters, min roll, crit damage, and 8. It does have some synergy, like for defense scaling bruisers. It's just you kind of have to gem in the HP, and that's gonna make it really hard to use. But I think this is a keep. It's not crazy good, but it's the problem is, like, if I start re-upping this, I will burn a lot of. Get rid of ACK? Yeah, you would get rid of the ACK for sure. Yeah, no, the ACK goes. It's just, I think about how many re-ups will it take me to get something better than this? And also, like, if I do get something that's just a teeny tiny bit better, wouldn't it have been better to have this rune plus the teeny tiny bit better, right? So, yeah, I think that's just a keep. We just gem it. But that is not it. Okay, wow, I must have just, like, completely missed his slot 5s. We got a bunch of targets here. Okay, cool. Kind of keeping it. 2-1-1. Gem in HP. This is actually a pretty nice support rune. Yeah. The low roll defense, kind of unfortunate. Low roll res, low roll defense, not the greatest synergy with crit rate innate. I think this justifies going a little further, to be honest. It's not a bad rune as it is, but the kind of the crit rate innate not synergizing makes it a little bit rough. However, same deal. If we don't get something better in 5, then we'll move along. All right, so this has a lot more use cases. It's double 1-1. It's kind of the same deal, but I think the big difference here is this is great for Tessa and Xingzhe. Probably mainly Tessa. This is actually a pretty solid Tessa, like a 239 Tessa rune. Ultra efficient. Tessa will get value out of all 5 stats. Same thing for a Xingzhe. There's a couple of other monsters as well that will find value here. It is efficient enough, I think, to justify legend, right? So your high mids, your low mid, and then your high mid again. You're only triple grinding. So it's kind of on the edge. But I think it's, you know, I think it's there. 10? All right, I'll take that. Yeah, I think that one is reasonable. All right. And then this one's just straight sell, right? There's nothing we can do with this. Yeah, there's no use case for this. Back to this rune. We just took a better version of this rune. So that is probably what I would say. We literally just kept a better version of this rune. So now I think we can move ahead with the re-app. And we can make this rune a better version of itself. Gem in the HP, we got great synergy. We got 2-1-1, no loss stats. Yep. That is what we were looking for right there. That is a much better version of this rune. All right, I am fairly certain Trendy has gone to sleep on us. So he did mark reapp targets and he marked Despair as reapp, but I don't know for a fact that he wanted to reapp Despair. He does want to add Siege Depth. This one's just a sell. Oh, okay. Perfect, Trendy. I was calling for you earlier. All right, so then we have only one innate bio potential target left. This one I was on the fence with because defense percent is not as valuable as the other stats. Bio will despair, destroy them swift. Perfect. Yeah, did you catch the last few reapps, Trendy? Because we had a couple of pretty nice ones. We had like 4 nice ones in like 12 reapps or something. Including I'm not sure if you actually saw this one because you didn't comment on it. This one right here. All right, but so going over to that Tessarune, I wanted to know what you'd like me to do with that Tessarune. There's really a case to just sell this outright. Got it, bro. Got it. I hope your kid's okay. But yeah, so there's a case to sell this one outright, and there's also a case to just like throw 3 reapps into it and then sell it if it doesn't hit, but see if it just lands on something. You kind of go either way. For me, this is one of those where it's like when you buy packs that have reapps, you can burn a couple just to YOLO. It's more gamble than anything else. When you just save the reapps really slowly over time, then I probably just sell this and I farm out a better total. Tyler, I mean, you can add the speed. I don't think it'll land anywhere if you add the speed. Trendy says 1 and done. All right, let's do it. Yeah, left side's better. All right, 1 and done. So, yeah, you can add the speed. It's not super likely to land anywhere, and it's just one of those things where you may wind up having more runes. One thing I will say, I have to mentally adjust for the fact that gems are super easy to get now, because my mind was just going to the fact that it's like, do I want to waste a speed gem on when I have better targets? But actually, now that speed gems are easy to get, still, I would not gem this as my top priority. I'm sure that you're going to have better uses for speed gems for a while, but if you run out of gem targets, then you can throw speed on it, maybe it'll land on something. So that's it for the Vio as far as stuff with innate goes. The only other option would be like a Vio 6 HP. The Vio 4s I would not necessarily prioritize because you're speed chasing on these two, right? These two are just straight speed chase basically. But the crit damage one, I think you could do. The HP one there, I think you could do. Probably it. So be up to you if you wanted me to do those two, that one and that one. Probably. Otherwise, I would move on from the Vio and probably start hitting the Despair. Hit the HP. Cool. And here we'll keep it a much lower level. Like we have much lower standards because it does not have innate. Just want the first thing kind of usable. This is borderline. This is almost borderline, but this is much better. All right. So speaking of Cami, pretty nice Cami rune right here actually. Yeah, really nice Cami rune actually. Okay, so not sure if you saw that then, if the ad snuck up on you. Let's see. Let's go grade. Should be this mark, right? Here you go. Oh, really solid for it was 3 reaps for basically a no innate 3 reaps. That's a really solid reap right there. It's a low mid triple on the attack. Decent roll on speed, gemmable defense percent, the grindable flat HP is really nice. Pretty solid cami style rune is my thought. That stays there, that swaps to there. Alright, so among the despairs, may not have a ton of targets. One there, 2 there. This is not a re-up. I feel like you probably mismarked this one. This is definitely a key. Granted, the attack roll is not crazy good, but for slot 1, I wouldn't burn a re-up on that. This is pretty much done, actually. This one, on the other hand, we can definitely give it a shot. All right, well. It's not the greatest stat mix for Despair, but it is way too efficient to sell. So you gem in the speed there, and it's just that's just way too efficient to sell. Not a lot of use cases for slot 2 HP, so we'll take the first thing that's even. Actually, maybe just take it how it is. Gem speed in. I mean, who is your use cases for slot 2 HP? Like Antares for RTA, not super in the meta at the moment. Maybe a Veritra, a little slow for a Veritra, even with speed lead. Veritra, maybe with speed lead. Could do like a Quadam, not so much. I don't know, but there's no wasted stats on here. I think you just gem in the speed. Especially because it's low use case. I think you just gem in the speed there. Okay, this one is much more real, right? 2 and 1. That's a little rough. That looks pretty, but I feel like that's still a re-up. I don't see any use case. Like, the efficiency on this one is super good, but I see no use case for this. The resistance innate does not synergize at all. The defense does not synergize with any monster on this speed. You have to either gem in speed. Okay, there's one use case. Do you have Artemeal? If you have Artemeal, this is an OP Artemeal. That's it. That's the only use case I can think of. OP Artemeal. Do you think you're gonna get Artemeal at some point in the future? Because if you think there's an Artemeal in your future, you may still want to. I never thought I would pull Artemeal until oh man, I don't know about this one. It's Despair too, and it's Despair slot 3. I think you just gotta keep it, man. I just, it has like next to no use case. How it could be Halphus wants HP. Halphus wants HP. This has like next to no use case, but it's Despair slot 3. What am I? Go farm giants for an hour, you get another one of those. Yeah, I think you just keep that. You just gotta keep it. Well, we're really searching for an Artemeal, aren't we? This one though, I think this is pretty straight. See, the thing is, like I always say, like you never gem your highest in slot, right? This is such an utterly useless one. And it's clearly your highest in slot by a mile. Yeah, you keep it. It's your highest in slot. You keep it. You're going to re-app it in the future. Right? You will definitely re-app this in the future. But for right now, keep it. Throw some speed on it. And just let it sit in your inventory until you get something better. And as soon as you get something better, you can re-app it. Bro, Oh, congrats on the Fellery and on Amarna, man. Okay, this is actually kind of usable in my eyes. This is not bad. I don't mind the flat HP roll with the triple on HP. Your quad grindable. The crit damage doesn't synergize great, but this is usable. Yeah, but HP is worth so much more than defense. That's the whole. Plus, this has actually got the extra flat HP with it. So you say the same rune, but HP, but that's not really true because the flat HP here synergizes. This one is just like way more use case. Granted, it's still super slow. Yeah, so now if you did it as an Antares rune, the crit damage actually has value. The HP has value. Great slot 3. At that point, I don't even know, because you wouldn't put speed on it, right? So you would put crit rate, probably. Crit rate or accuracy. Yeah, no, this is definitely a keeper. That one's definitely a keeper. RTA is not his priority, so because RTA is not his priority, I don't think it's going to land on an Antares. But... Alright, that's pretty much it for the Despair. I'm not a huge fan of reapping slot 5 no innate. It's just so difficult to get something to land on a slot 5 no innate. I'm actually now that it's so easy to get runes, I'm not a fan of reapping any slot 1, 3, 5 no innate unless you just have like infinite reapps. So for the most part, I would sell most of those. The slot 4 HPs are kind of rough for me as well because you're basically just speed chasing. There's not a lot of use for slot 4 HP that doesn't have at least some speed on it. I mean, occasionally you get like the triple defense or something, but pretty limited use case. Kind of the same thing for the Ancient. This is a totally unusable rune. I could see you putting a couple of reapps into it and crossing your fingers, but it's a gamble and it's a lower percentage gamble. So for me, I feel like you probably were done with Despair. A lot of Swift targets. Okay. I would not re-up this. No HP, no innate, and this is literally just... Slot 6 Swift is just straight speed chase. There's no real monsters that want slot Swift 6... that want Swift 6 HP. They're just speed chase. Straight speed chase. So with the innate, you can get away with it a little bit more. It's my last choice among Swift runes, but you can get away with it. Without the innate, I'd probably just keep this one how it is. I would just gem the... just gem something over the attack. Probably crit rate, honestly. Oh, he said destroy. Thank you, Bronson. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, he did say destroy. Alright, so then that would be... This is actually a super efficient rune. It doesn't have the greatest synergy. But monsters like Tessa and Zingzei, again, we mentioned those a lot, is super efficient. I don't see you reacting this. I think this has use cases, and especially because it's slot 1, I think you just throw the speed on here, and it has use cases. That happens to me, Trendy. That's really annoying that you cannot change the marker from grind management. That actually really bugs me. That's like one thing that we really need. Like the next QOL thing that we really need is the ability to change marks from the grind manager. Huh. It's a doubling crit damage, right? 445 on a slot 5. It's not quite good. This, on the other hand, will work. Probably, I don't know, maybe not enough people have complained or brought it up and they don't realize that it's even an issue. Alright, so you've got 2 ways to go with this, and it's just pretty much free win no matter what. You're going to change the defense to speed, and then if it lands on a 0 speed monster, you just change it right back to defense. But this will be a flex stat. You can always change this back and forth, so this is just a huge win right here. Yeah, low HP roll doesn't matter here. In context, this is a sexy room. This is another one of those rooms that you will use for as long as you're playing. So yeah, I would not re-app this rune at all. I think you can probably keep it. It's actually not a bad rune. I mean, it's not a great rune, but it's not bad. This 19 speed, 15 crit rate. The crit rate's not the greatest thing ever here, but just the no innate and you're straight speed chasing and you've already got speed. So I think this is probably just a keep. I would probably gem. I guess I would gem defense over flat defense. Yeah, I would just gem defense over flat defense, basically. And then this one really has no use case whatsoever, but slot 1, no innate. I would either sell it or gem attack over crit rate, and actually I wouldn't sell it. Yeah, I would put attack over crit rate because I could see this landing again. Say I keep mentioning the same monsters because there's only a few that really want resistance mixed with offensive stats. It's Tessa, it's Sing Zhe. There are a couple of others, just not a lot. But Smicer actually is one. Maybe you don't put Smicer in Destroy. I'm pushing. I'm pushing really hard there. Yeah, no, it's pretty much Tessa and Sing Zhe. But the occasional siege defense monster, but it's mostly Tessa and Sing Zhe. Yeah. Either way, though, I think you put the attack percentage over the crit rate. You just keep it. It's not a viable re-app target being slot 1. So from there, we can start to look at the Swift rooms. And we have... So for Swift, this is actually straight sell. It's just slot 1, no innate, no reason whatsoever to re-app that. You farm giants for an hour, you'll get better re-app targets. Same thing here, this is straight sell. It's probably also straight sell. I don't value HP percent a lot on Swift, not for seeds purposes, but still, re-apping HP innate slot 1's a little rough. It's better, but not good. I mean, we can gem 10 speed in on the left. And so with Swift, you're not always speed chasing. With Swift, you want offensive stats. That's the big thing. This is rough because 17 speed is kind of slow. You're forced to gem attack percentage over resistance. That's really the only way this ring can make sense. You can gem in 10 speed here. You can gem in 11 attack here. So you're giving up 4 crit damage and 4 attack for 7 speed. So the right side is better. Bro, 2 noobs, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, we're super stoked, man. I'm super stoked. I am super stoked. Yeah, I'm gonna check your Swift just to see. Make sure that that's not like up near the top on your speed stuff. It actually is. So it is like really efficient, but not actually a good Swift rate. Same thing here. Well, this one's not a bad Swift rate. The attack and crit rate have nice synergy. So this one's a good Swift rate. This one I would probably change the accuracy for crit rate. That's a good Swift rune. This is not really a great Swift rune. This is a good Swift rune, so here I would absolutely just put crit damage over the accuracy. This is a really nice rune, just with the crit damage. So you basically have like 2 runes in front of it, but yeah, it's 21 speed. So you do have another 17 speed, kind of like generic rune behind it, and a 16 speed behind it. I think this is just not good enough. They're pretty much equally like not quite there, but yeah. So here you would have to gem attack percent over accuracy. So you give up some speed for 1 crit damage, and then HP that means nothing. So alright, I think that was 5. We'll just leave that marked re-app and look for another target. Let's actually, I'd rather do your 4s and 6s first anyway. Oh, I checked those already, right? So this would just be straight speed chase. This would be straight speed chase. And these 2 are not only straight speed chase, but they have no innate. I will sell 1 and keep 1. Why do I keep 1? Because if someday you're really desperate for an accuracy rune, I don't want to leave it undone. But I wouldn't put re-apps into it right now unless you just specifically needed a Swift accuracy. All right, this is actually a much more solid. This is actually a solid reap target. So we try this one. It's 3, right? Yeah, 2 more. Hey! Finally got something. It's not amazing. It's pretty solid, honestly. Yeah, it is. It is actually really solid. Double speed, double crit rate. This is yeah, no, this is actually super solid. This is actually super solid. Because I forgot we had the crit damage innate. That was when I had that half reaction. I forgot this one was crit damage innate, so you can't really get crit damage in subs. Would have liked maybe like a little more crit damage here, but this is a really solid siege offense rune. You put this on obviously an attacker that goes behind a booster, like Julie style rune maybe. Swift Lucian, whatever, things like that. You're going to want to gem in a higher attack. That's why I didn't grind the attack. Try and get at least 10 attack there before you grind it. But that one's actually quite a solid. Resonate. I like accuracy more than res. I mean, it doesn't matter because we're not keeping either, but technically this side's better. All right, jackpot. Now, see, that is an OP Swift Rune. That literally has the 5 stats that you want. Pretty much allocated. Nice, too. Ending the 10 speed there. This is a freaking OP Swift Rune. This is an absolutely OP Swift Rune. It's 6'6", 6'5", 8'7". Literally, it's like basically this is as close to a perfect Swift Rune as you can get. I think maybe if you had flat attack innate, that would probably because the accuracy is useful, but not as useful on most Swift monsters that you would use on siege offense. But I mean, short of the that's just splitting hairs, dude. This is actually one of the best reaps of the day. It doesn't always look like it from a siege player's perspective. This is probably the 3rd best reap today. I would say behind like that 5 million% HP rune and the 5 million% efficiency. Well, we had a couple of runes that were like 120 efficiency. But yeah, this is right there. This is top 3-4 reaps of the day. Easy. All right, not a huge fan of reapping Swift with crit rate innate for the exact reason of the runes you just saw. Are we back, guys? Alright guys, can you hear me? Are we back? Okay, Tyler says I'm back. Okay, I have to reload my chat. That's what it is. My internet dropped, and I don't know what that was, because when the internet dropped, audio on Twitch is not working. Huh. Okay. So we're back on YouTube. YouTube can hear me, right? Aggie's saying audio on Twitch is not working. You guys can hear me. Okay, so everything looks good on YouTube, so it's Twitch. Let's see why Twitch. Testing. All right. I have no idea. I don't think in the multi-stream I have the ability to change like just one stream either. Yeah, Twitch is not getting audio. Huh. All right, I'm just gonna recommend they they come to YouTube. All right. So is what it is. All right, let's return to where we were. And that was looking at this OP rune. YouTube died again. Green screen of death. Awesome. Awesome. I do have internet. My internet's not down this time. Anybody else having problems on YouTube, or can anybody see me on YouTube? Green screen still. All right, guys. You can't hear me.